All right, we are here. We're live. We are ready to go. What's going on, everybody? What is going on?
Ready to go.
Can y'all hear me? We're good? Yeah, I heard myself, so I know we're good. All right, bet. Let me turn this on, turn that down. Got that there. Put this over here. And I think we're ready to go. All right. So I seen a video that's coming out. Nancy Grace supposedly got wind that the DNA from the killer is not showing up in the system, which would indicate that that person hasn't been through the system or DNA hasn't been swabbed ever. So now that kind of makes me rethink my statement on who may be the perp, if you get what I'm saying. So, being that the killer's DNA isn't in the system, we're looking at, either a possible student or somebody who never got in trouble and finally acted out on what they always had a fantasy of. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but that makes sense to me. I feel like that's what it is in general, because I did see something about Nancy Grace saying that. Hold on, let me go back to that because that was interesting. Actually, I'll pull it up. Nancy Grace. Let me see what pops up here. Right here. Here it is. I just seen something about it. I was reading on it. That's actually what took me so long to get here. Is that the evidence? Supposedly the DNA. Nancy Grace says perp DNA not coming up for University of Idaho students found dead. So basically, their DNA or whoever it is DNA isn't getting a match in the system. So we're kind of having that problem, you know. They'll have to do ancestral testing, says Marlena. Hey, shout out to everybody that's in here, by the way. What's up, Marlena? How you doing? Livy, not enough. Katie Bug, Amy, appreciate you guys all joining me this morning or this afternoon, should I say. Unsocial Butterfly, how you doing? Long time no see. Cindy Sparks, Sheba, Tam Ara. Is that the R I'm thinking? John in the building. What's up, John? Hunter's Moon. What's up? High Priestess. Just for crafts and giggles. I put together a nice little playlist of newer videos so we could get down to that. I want to play those newer videos, so I had to put lotion on my face because my face was dry. I don't know if it's from the infection I was going through or what, but yeah, I don't know. Why do I look yellow in the camera right now? I don't even know, but yeah, all right, whatever. What's the live about today? Just got the notification, says Dawn. Live about today, we're going to go over some videos. I just put together a playlist, all brand new videos. It's just stuff that I want to go over, you know. What up, Jody? Nice to see you, Jody. Annette, nice to see you. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate everybody that's coming by. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're new here. Let's go ahead and dive into some videos. If you have any new videos that I need to see and play live, because we're going to be going over a decent amount of videos on this stream today. Like, I'm getting back to the agenda that I was on. You know, when I go live, we're going to watch some videos together. We're going to dive into things and we'll talk about it. So, yeah, we're doing that for everybody who runs off when I put the spirit box on. I'm not putting the spirit box on, so I'll save that. I'll make sure I put that in the title next time so people don't freak out on me, because I got some emails saying, hey, it would be nice if you gave me a heads up when you're doing spirit box. I'm not doing that today on stream or during this I can't even speak straight. During this live, I'm not doing that. So Lotion explains it. I was thinking, damn, his skin looks all fresh and clean today. Well, yeah, I just put lotion on because my face was dry. I had to do all the leaves yesterday, so I did like 30 big ass bags of leaves in the yard. There's so much leaves in the yard, it's crazy. But yeah, I had to put lotion on my face because it was dry. I had skin peeling off, but I did put a nice playlist together, so we're gonna go through that playlist. Thank God I got premium, so we ain't got to deal with none of the commercials. But I guess we could stop after each video and just, you know, we can conversate about what's being said. I did grab a lot of videos that would be interested to what we like to watch. You don't look yellow. You look white. Too much light, I think. Here. Hold up. Let me do this. That's on the lowest setting. My lighting is on the lowest setting. Is that better? Tell me if that's better. The lowest setting it could possibly go on, I just put my lighting on. All right? I put my lighting on the lowest setting. She said, you don't look. I'm dead. So is that perfect? Perfect. Lighting, lowest setting on each one. All right, bet. Thank you. You know, all right, let's get into it. I got it right here. Boom. Looks good, Trev. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for all coming by. Make sure you smash that like button. Oh, my God, that's loud. So, what to be looking forward on my channel, I want to tell you guys here. Okay, so what to be looking forward. I've been slacking on my suicide and murder mystery that we're going to be doing on this channel for all members who join. I am continuing to do that. Like I said, I got Ellen Greenberg coming up, Jessica Johnson, and some stuff that I'm going to be dropping. That's solo content besides the lives. My main focus right now is the Idaho murders, the quadruple murders. And, you know, I still am going to be going back on the Kylie Rodney case and the Trinity Backus case. And I'm also going to be doing readings. So I got my first deck here, which was gifted to me. So I will be doing readings. I will go live and do free readings. I won't be charging nobody for no readings. I will be doing readings on my subscribers and members who want them. Being that I'm an empath and I got that gift, so that'll be coming to the channel soon too. I don't know when I want to do my first live, when I'm confident. I want to do it when I'm confident. So, but yeah, let's dive into these videos. I got them right here. A ton of them. Actually, Harsh just dropped one down here. If you have any, just make sure you hit just make sure you send them to my email. If there's any videos that aren't in here that I got, all these videos that I got up here are brand new. Every single one of them are brand new. Here we go. Let me put that on the bottom. So everything I got on this video, or everything I got as far as videos right here, came out today. So let's get down to that. You can practice on me. Now, I've already did some readings, and they're pretty on point. So, and you can ask. I think a few of the people are in here. Grizzly put out a video of Joe the Hat. Okay, look, that's kind of, we're getting down to that on the second one. The second video down is that. So let's hit play all and go through.
So, how is everyone? I hope you're all well. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer in this video. First of all, a bit of a trigger warning, because there'll be some information in here that some may find disturbing. And secondly, this is an account that was sent to me. Now, I haven't had chance to find out whether this guy would like to be credited for sending me this information. But if he does, then I will pin his details in the pinned comment on the video once I've confirmed that. But this is an account from what is supposed to be two people who were at the property when the 911 call was made. Now, some people are likely to have seen this. Some people will not have. But it's important to understand that we don't know whether the account that they state is true.
Right.
But it seems that this was in defense of some comments that were made about the surviving people who were in the property. I feel that they are attacked on another social media platform. Wow. And these people felt the need to jump in and defend them. So without further ado, we'll get into the meat and potatoes and we'll go to it. But I just thought, before I do that, check this out. So we've got dog cam. That's dog cam. How cool is that? So through the video, if he does anything, we can pretty much double check and make sure that he's okay. Can't we, dog? I think he actually knows he's on camera. I think he does actually know, staring at it. Look. What I might do is strap a GoPro to his head. So when we do videos, we can strap a GoPro and watch him wander about. But that's Milo. Hello, Milo. So anyway, right. This is, I won't put it up on screen. I could share the screen, but I don't want to because it's got details on there of people who obviously don't want to put their information on. So I'm going to read it, okay? And a little bit of the context, if you like. So let me just see where the best place is to start. Right, two people who claimed to be at the house with the roommates when the bodies were discovered quickly came to the surviving roommate's defense and wrote that the roommates woke up, went upstairs to the kitchen and noticed the sliding glass door was open, and it was during that time they discovered Ethan.
Oh, shit.
They didn't say where he was found on that floor, but that it was so horrific that both girls went into shock and ran out of the house. One of the roommates fainted, and the other was beyond hysterical and not making any sense. Their frantic actions while coming out of the house caught the attention of people walking past. The people responding on the victim's IG claimed to be two of those people.
Wow.
They implied that the roommate who fainted had already dialed 911, but was so distraught that she fainted before she could give any info that the dispatcher could understand. The info that the bystander who picked up the roommate's phone could give the 911 dispatcher was she just saw her friend run out of the house and faint. So that obviously clarifies why the call to 911 stated that someone was unconscious, not that someone, that was something that a lot of people had queried before. So that's how the 911 call was made on the roommate's phone and by someone else, and why the call went out for an unconscious person. While that bystander was on the phone with 911, the other roommate was hysterically trying to explain that something was wrong with Ethan. By this point, several more people had stopped to see what was happening, and one or two of them went into the house to see if they could help him. There were multiple people in the yard at that time, and those people began contacting their friends that someone in the house was badly hurt.
Bent over.
Someone called Ethan's brother Hunter to tell him something was wrong with his brother because he lived close to the house, and someone called one of the other victim's boyfriends as he was also Ethan's best friend. I didn't go into detail on if either of those boys had arrived before the paramedics did, but it did kind of sound like they did. They didn't go into detail on what kind of injuries Ethan suffered. They also didn't say if anyone went to check on the other roommates before the paramedics arrived, but it's somewhat implied that someone had. The only details they gave about the scene itself was that it was incomprehensibly bloody. Wow. While those people were in the house checking on Ethan and possibly the other roommates, the paramedics arrived to a very chaotic scene, believing they were to assess an unconscious person outside, but they were redirected to go inside to help someone who was hurt.
Thank you, Mom to Five Kings. I appreciate you becoming a member. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I do appreciate that. Shout out to John for the 8 months of the support since I've had the join button. I do appreciate you being a member and a long-term. You've been with me for 5 years since I took YouTube serious, and I do appreciate your support. I appreciate everything you've done for me. I appreciate everybody that's in here right now on this journey, guys. I mean, I'm on a journey here, and it's going to continue to get better, and I'm going to continue to build and learn every single day. So I mean, all I really want is to bring justice to families, or try to bring some type of awareness to some people that may not know about these cases, or any cases that we talk about. I mean, this case in general bothers me. It tickles my heart, in a bad way, because it's like, who did this? Who did this? That's what I want to know. I want to know who did this, and I will go through every single video, every news post article. It doesn't matter. I'll dig through it all. That's what we're here for, right, guys? We're here to find out who did this. And now I need to go and turn on subscribers only, because we got nasty shit like that coming up. So let's go ahead and fix that right now. I'm sorry about that, guys, that you have to see that 6ix9ine fun bull crap. But thank you, Mom, the Five Kings. I do appreciate your support. Now let's finish watching this video.
Very badly. So they walked into the house unaware that it was a crime scene and contaminated most of everything on the second floor. It doesn't sound like the roommates were roaming throughout the house carelessly, contaminating everything, fully aware that their friends had been murdered. It sounds like the scene was contaminated by numerous people who were trying to help, unaware and unable to comprehend what they were looking at, and that it was a crime scene. And they go on to say, my heart breaks for these two poor innocent young females. Not only have they experienced a trauma so brutal that it can't be changed. Trauma so brutal that it can't not change who they are at their core, but they will have to live with the fear that someone might be coming for them.
Wow.
And they grieve of loss, 4 friends, plus a life that they once had that will never exist again. And if that wasn't traumatizing enough, they also get to live with millions of people publicly criticizing, persecuting, and incorrectly judging them for actions people assume they may or may not have taken. Some of the comments left on the IG pictures of the victims, especially the ones the survivors were tagged in, were beyond nasty, if not right down cruel. I don't understand how our society became so inhumane. It sounds like the 2 surviving roommates' behaviors were 100% appropriate for the situation they found themselves in. And I agree, like I said, this all alleged, but I think it explains a lot. I'm marking this as information rather than theory, because I'm not making a theory myself. I'm just relaying information given by the individuals who were there when the call was made.
So I'm thinking, before we finish this video up, I'm thinking that he had got direct contact from maybe somebody who either claims they were there or they were there for real. What do you guys think in the chat? Do you think somebody really reached out to him that was actually at that scene? Or do you think that it's somebody trolling and writing something that sounds similar? Because that's what it could be. But I don't think Harsh would go out his way to put up some bullshit. Like I wholeheartedly believe that, as I do like Harsh Reality's content. I don't think that he would put out some bullshit and say, hey, I think he would confirm that I would think the way that Harsh thinks, I think that he would make sure that this person was around them and is legit. That's just that's what my opinion tells me. Now I'm just asking you guys.
And look, that information, it answers a lot of questions. One of the biggest questions that we had surrounding the call was the fact that, look,
could be both.
We asked who had made the call. If the call was made on the surviving girls' phones, but not by them, then who made it? Well, that kind of answers that, and it answers it fairly well. And I agree that it makes complete sense. It does make complete sense. Also, the scene, it answers the question about why it was an unconscious person, and and that was kind of that.
Yep, and that explains what I'm talking about. That's where I got screwed up at. Was, oh, I got a call about an unconscious person. Well, it makes sense if it plays out the way that we heard, right? So we heard that they got a call that there was an unconscious person. So they weren't talking about the people in the house. They were talking about the person who made the 911 call that ran out the house and fainted from what they seen, which makes a lot more sense with an unconscious person 911. And then they come and they see the murders. It's from the person who made the phone call that literally freaked out, blacked out, passed out, and they got a call for the unconscious person. That makes a lot more sense in theory, right?
Confusion over, hold on, why were they saying they were unconscious if there was blood everywhere? So that was referencing the girl who had found the scene. So I believe this is credible. I do genuinely believe it's credible. Let me know what you guys think. Once again, this was sent to me. I thank that person very much for sending me this. I hadn't seen it prior to receiving this. But yeah, I do believe this is credible information. I could be completely wrong, but to me, it makes complete and utter sense. And let's have a look and see how the dog's holding up. And it seems that my story has sent him to sleep.
He's funny.
So, there we have it. This is video 1 of 2 today. So, if you don't get notifications, do check. Because YouTube and their notification system seems to be playing up quite bad. It does help sometimes if you just check that your notifications are turned on your phone, because you can turn them on YouTube, but then in your phone settings can have notifications turned off. And sometimes it helps if you unsubscribe and then resubscribe. That can reboot everything up if you're having problems with notifications. But until next time, I'll catch you in the next one.
All right, so let's go to the next one. This is all right, so guys, this one's important here. So this next video that we're going to check out right here is on the Idaho murders. This was the guy that was at the food truck that night. So this one's important right here. So let's hop into this one.
Hey, Joe here. I just wanted to jump on this and make a video real quick and kind of just squash some stuff that I've been seeing. So, first and foremost, I feel super awkward that I even have to make this video, but I've been like not really keeping track of all of the stuff that's going on with this investigation for those girls that were killed. And to start off, like the very next day when they had announced the murders and when they had shown the photos, as soon as I saw the photos, I messaged the 2 people that were in that video that I was talking to, my neighbor and then another guy that we had met earlier that night who I thought was really cool. And we invited him to come with us to Grub Bus. I was like, hey, weren't 2 of these girls at the Grub Bus with us last night? And they couldn't remember, but they were also very drunk and I was not. So I did have, there's a drink called a Larry Craig. That's like a really popular drink over here. I did have one of those at Corner Club, but I mean, other than that, I was totally sober. When they confirmed that those were the girls, the only reason I knew that it was those girls was because I saw the video that said, oh, they were seen at this thing. Because I actually called the police right away and was like, hey, I think I might have information. I just need to know like what was one of the girls wearing, because I remember one of them had like pink, because the one that bumped into me at Corner Club was wearing pink. But nobody called me back from the police, and I was like, okay, they're probably just swamped with information, probably whatever. But then when the video came out and people were like, no, those were the girls, and those 2 people were like, dude, those were the girls, I was like, okay, I'm gonna physically go to the police station and talk to the police. I told the police everything I saw, which is different than what I think is going out there right now. And I was just waiting for food. I'm just like everybody else in town that waits for food at the Grub Bus. It does take a while. everybody goes there. And so that was kind of the thing. It was like, no, we gotta, if you're ending the night, you end it at Grub Bus. But other than that, I don't really have any like crazy information. I don't know why everybody's reaching out to me. I don't know why so many people are trying to spin things around. And so what I've decided to do is that I'm only commenting on things that are like ridiculous. So try and give clarity. But man, people are really turning this into something it's not. Yeah. So I want to address a few things specifically. One being the news article that came out. It was the first person that I actually like talked to with the news media. A lot of media outlets have reached out to me, and I've just ignored them because I just was like, man, I just was waiting for food. Like I have nothing to add. I've given all the helpful information I can to the police. It would make zero sense for me to give any more information to random people. But these rumors that are going around were just like crazy, and I didn't have a bad vibe from the guy that people were dragging through the mud. I don't know if he did it or not. I don't know.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, I could speak to the vibe I got from him, which was all people really wanted to know at first, anyways. And I thought he was fine. Now, the news outlet that I talked to, I mean, he really embellished some stuff I said and added his own words to things and
Damn.
kind of changed the verbiage. I wasn't defending anybody. That's one thing he said. I wasn't defending him. I was just saying people need to stop spreading rumors because that could ruin his life. What if he's innocent? It would ruin his life.
I agree.
The other thing he said is that I noticed him come in with the girls. I didn't notice him come in with the girls. I didn't notice him until I cracked the joke to the frat guys because I thought it was ridiculous that it was like freezing outside and that guy was in a tank top. So I just made a joke because that's how I make friends. I don't know. But that's when the guy chimed in and I noticed him. I didn't notice him until that moment. When I was at Corner Club, when I said ew, some people were like, "Why? That's such a weird thing to say. Why would I?" That's what you say when you're standing talking to friends and somebody really drunk, like they smell drunk, they're like bouncing around, and they bump into you and like rub up against you. Like
Right.
that's what you. It's gross. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but she was really. I mean, you could even see in the Grub Buzz video, she couldn't even. She walked between us several times and just couldn't even walk straight. That girl was very drunk. She's actually the only one that I thought was really drunk. And she was the only one I noticed at Corner Club because she had bumped into me. Another thing that was weird is that the guy who was interviewing me from the Daily Mail or whatever it was, he said glass-eyed. And I was like, sure, yeah, like that. I didn't actually even use that word. That was his word. And then as far as the car goes, yeah, there's a car that pulled up. I couldn't remember what it was. I couldn't remember if it was black, blue, gray. I couldn't remember. I just remember that a car pulled up. So yeah, so I didn't know what color the car was. It was dark. And I just felt like when I told the guy, I said it was a dark car, I couldn't remember what color it was. And I think when I was at the police station, I couldn't remember what color it was. They asked me to. And yeah, so, but the Daily Mail guy was like, no, you need to, like, was it blue? Was it black? I was like, I can't remember if it was blue or black. I can't remember. He's like, we'll just say a dark colored car. And I was like, okay. I was like, I think it was a 4-door sedan, but this guy got out and was like, hey, let's go. What's going on? Because the girls were making videos and laughing and they were trying to grab all the food. Every time food was coming out from the Grub Bus, they were just trying to grab it. And they thought it was funny, and it was a little funny, but they were trying to grab all the food that was coming out. And when I went up and I talked to the guy at the Grub Bus, I said, "Did you just give them food?" Because he just said, "Here you go," like that, and gave them food, and then they ran off.
Oh wow!
I actually told the Grub Bus, I was like, "That was really nice of you." He's like, "Yeah, they just need to, they need to get home." And I was like, "Yeah, they were trying to climb into the Grub Bus, so very drunk." And then honestly, as soon as they called my number, I told the guy, I said, they're leaving, bro. And then because they called my number, all I could think about was pasta. I couldn't think about anything else other than just eating macaroni and cheese. And that was it. I didn't give any other thoughts. I didn't think anything else about it. Yeah. Some people have said that, like, I've seen some people say, like, oh, I think it's suspicious how much Joe remembers. I, I'm an adult. Like, as soon as I realized that those were the girls that we saw there, I tried my best to remember everything and recount it from that night because I knew that it would help in the investigation. Some people said, oh, Joe might have been the suspect. Dude, I have cameras in my house. I literally have the time I walked in my house. The girls were still alive at that point. And I have a can of soda that I had in my video, having in my hands, walking into my house. So yeah, it wasn't me, I promise. And other people were saying that I was excited about like a claim to fame or something like that. What is wrong with you? That's such a disgusting thing to think. Like, who would be excited about this?
Wow.
I've literally ignored everybody, like everybody. The only reason I even answered the Daily Mail guy at first is because he showed up to my friend's house, like physically showed up to my friend's house, trying to find me or trying to get information about me. Crazy. And yeah, I just wanted to help. You know, part of me too felt guilty because I was laughing. I kind of laughed at the girls, you know, um, watching them be drunk because, I mean, let's be honest, anybody that lives here, the whole reason that the Grub Bus has a Twitch stream is because the people, I call them zombies, but just kind of like because they're just people come from all walks throughout the night. A lot of drunk people come there after they've finished their night drinking to load up on carbs, eat food. Police come there that are working late. They come get their food. They just park right behind the bus.
Right.
People like me come there who just want pasta in the middle of the night. Yeah, it's all walks of life, all people, but it makes for an interesting crowd pretty late. And so they always live stream it. That's the reason they live stream it. So that camera footage that you guys are seeing, that looks like surveillance, it's not surveillance. It's a live stream for Twitch for the Grub Bus.
Hello, Natasha.
One thing I did say that I'm glad that was reported truthfully is that, you know, I have a little girl, and I mean, she's a baby. She's like not even 2 yet, and she's my world. And you know, there's a dad out there that these girls that they're his world, you know, and they're gone. So, and I just felt kind of guilty because instead of helping them when they were drunk, they were entertainment. While I was waiting for food, they were just the entertainment. They were just the drunk people that everybody laughs at, you know? And it's sad, and some people think that's disrespectful. I mean, it was what was happening. They were drunk. They were out there drunk like that. And one of my toxic traits is that I take on the weight of everything that's going on around me, both personally or just even with friends and stuff. And so any of my friends that know me, they reached out to me pretty much right away because they knew that this was going to be eating me up. And it has. And I haven't been following what people have been saying until just recently. You know, somebody sent me a TikTok video that had the most ridiculous things on it, and I tried to set those straight. And apparently it fueled more Reddit BS and more rumors. I don't understand how people are making this into an entertainment thing. Like, I live here. My friends are scared to walk to their cars. I'm a big guy. I'm strong. I don't feel super safe going outside alone at night either. I just hope people realize that there's real people that are affected by this stuff, you know. And sorry, I put my hood on. It's really cold. Like, there's snow outside. But at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like people need to stop trying to reach out to me to get statements.
All right, so this guy, you said, who is this guy again? Which one was he at the food truck? It's the bigger guy in the tan. It was the bigger guy in that tan jacket. This is who this guy is, the bigger guy in the tan jacket.
There's so many other people that know more about what's going on than I do. I just happen to be getting macaroni and cheese at the same time as them. And other than like those couple minutes there, I can't really speak to anything else. And people need to stop dragging whoever through the mud, especially if you don't live here and you don't know anybody.
I don't
You
feel
don't know
he's
what's
involved.
going on really. Like this isn't funny and it's not entertaining. And I believe that Moscow Police Department is doing a really good job in trying to kind of just do damage control. But like, let's be honest, the FBI is like on it. You know, I would be surprised if they have a really good idea of who it is. They're just waiting for evidence, you know, evidence to just make it concrete, you know, because one of the worst things that can happen, you guys, is if they catch the murderer and they arrest them, bring them in, and then they have weak or refutable evidence and that person walks. Think about that. You know, so ease up. Don't be jerks to the police, you know. They're literally like, they don't want to give information out because this is like a really tight investigation, but they know things. They know things. I don't understand why they didn't. I will say my one critique, I don't know why they didn't put out right away that a car picked up the girls and was waiting for them in front of the grub bus. It took them way too long to do that. And there was a lot of rumors going around saying that the girls ran away from that guy. They ran across the street. And that's really when I started to like, man, I should say something, you know, online. But, you know, I work in media and marketing, and I'm a musician, and I have a lot of things that I just want to like give the world. And I'm sad that this is kind of how my name got out there. That makes me really sad.
Right.
I'll probably delete these videos as soon as they announce the murder and it's all over. But until then, please just stop. Today I talked to somebody from Dr. Phil. They were wanting me to go on Dr. Phil and talk about this. And I'm like, why? I don't think people realize how little I actually know. But like I've said, I've been pretty much ignoring everybody. I'm not going to talk to any more media. There's actually, let me backtrack that. There's a lady coming to Moscow tomorrow who I'll probably have coffee with, but other than her, that's it.
Wow. What do you guys think about that?
Jonathan Lee.
All right, so this one's about the red Jeep. So this video I thought was interesting. What do you guys think about the last video? What do you think about do you think he was involved? I just want to see in chat. Not involved, but I mean, do you think he's involved? Do you think he's just talking? Do you think he's trying to cloud up? What do you think? What are your thoughts on the big guy? That last person that was just talking is the big guy at the food truck that you see in the video standing with white hoodie guy. That's who you see. That's who was just talking. Do you think he was involved? Yes or no? I personally don't think he was involved. That's just my no, he was rude. Okay. So I see one who thinks he was rude. Nope. I see coming through. Let's see what everybody else thinks. He know nothing, Amy says. What else we got? What else we got? Anybody else? Shogun, I called him first. Oh, wow. So who changed it? Who is he talking about that changed his words around? Does anybody know that? Who changed that dude's words around? Because he said somebody changed his words around, and I'm just curious. So let me go through here. He seems legit, Natasha says. High Priestess says nope. Think it's a start to speak for himself. Okay. Oh God, not this tool, says Dry. Not this tool. I agree with this guy, says Sheba. I think a lot of people joke and laugh at drunk people. He didn't know what was going to happen to them, in my opinion, Marlena says. Thank you for sharing that, Marlena. I appreciate that. Because they know. I like this dude, Natasha says. Why is there no reward being offered? Says Patty. That's a good assessment. Right? Why isn't there no reward being offered? True crime people. What about media? Of course, true crime people. An average person, the reporter, Daily Mail not buying Dr. Phil. So you're not buying that he was called to go on Dr. Phil. Media, of course. Nah, he is feeling bad too, says Steffi Marshall. She says, not wanting fame for the info. We will watch him, but Joe feels okay. I mean, when you go online and you see people talking about you and you're standing at that food truck and you were literally conversating with those girls, you kind of, I mean, I would speak out. I would speak out immediately. You know what I'm saying? Because there's going to be speculation on you, regardless of the fact. Whether it's you, me, him, her, you know, somebody is going to speak about that person. And he was spoke about plenty of times. I've seen people in my comments send me emails. Check this guy out. Check this guy out. I've seen people send to TikTok, all types of stuff. So let's see. Ali says he could just be saying that too. You never know. That's why it's hearsay in court. Oh, I definitely understand that. Just for crafts and giggles says, oh my God, me too. Oh, okay. I see you're talking to somebody else. Amy says Daily Mail went to his friend's house to find him for an interview. Oh, wow. That's crazy. High Priestess says usually fam do the rewards, don't they? Huh? Jonathan Lee Ritchie's. Oh, yeah. You're talking about this guy's video I got up now. What's up, Brian? Nice to appreciate you coming by the stream. Chris says they probably know who it is. They won't offer a reward, just waiting on DNA. Well, Nancy Grace, Chris, put out that there's no DNA hit. So supposedly she got the word already. Just saying. Emily Jane says he has no choice other than to speak out and say something, or else everyone assumes he's the killer like a bunch of morons. Right. And that's what I was just touching on. He probably feels weird knowing he was one of the last people to see them alive. And I agree with that too. Northern says this dude is not a good guy. Not at all. Do you know he holds the world record for seeing people legally allowed to sue anyone anymore? He's a creep. Who are you talking about? Not sue anyone. Who are you talking about, Northern? Steffi Marshall says I would too, and I believe he said his piece and he wasn't pointing fingers. Usually a guilty never speaks out of his own fuck ups, but I don't know. Smash that leg. JLR is terrible. Damn, you shitting on every creator, aren't you? Good gracious. How is it possible that JLR has such bushy eyebrows yet be so bald? Oh my God. Oh man. I'm dead. Let's try to be respectful here. Come on now. Ali Cattell says they may already have it sus. We don't know if there's digital forensics that they are waiting on. She's talking about Jonathan. Who is this? All right, so this channel right here is somebody. This is Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates. Now I want to check this out. This is what I seen today on the Jeep. This is about the red Jeep at the house. If you've seen about the red Jeep, we're about to find out about it right now. Let's go ahead and check it out.
Riches Investigates. Let's talk about the red Jeep. The red Jeep that is out front of the home right now in Moscow, Idaho. The home where 4 college students were brutally stabbed in the middle of the night, November 13th, 2022. There is multiple cars in front of the home right now, and there is a red Jeep. And I want to talk about the red Jeep because who does that red Jeep belong to? And I think I found the answer. Today, Brian Enton with News Nation is out there on the scene. And he actually reported today that authorities were back at the house today. They went in and got...
Let me be clear. This is my first time ever seeing this dude. I did go off of videos dropped today, and this is about the red Jeep. So we want to know about the red Jeep. Now, whether I like the creator or not, I won't say. But if the information is good, it's good. If I do like him, I will say that.
Got some keys, and then they went out to the red Jeep. Check this out.
Okay, so they're going in the house. What is he folding up? I'm pretty sure they still got it blocked off. One of the main ones to stay away from. Why? What did he do? Oh no. Well, I appreciate you guys letting me know that. I do appreciate you letting me know that. So there's a police officer going inside of the vehicle as a red Jeep for what? Damn, they ain't block out the license plate or nothing?
Are we okay parked here?
Well, we can't get in and out slick roads. But we're going.
I seen a post about this on Reddit earlier.
The red Jeep. This red Jeep right here is at the house.
Okay, so I'm assuming that this is about to show us the red Jeep right here. So it's going by. I've seen this already. The red Jeep is right over here to the left. It's going to be right here. Coming up. Right there. Okay, so I have seen this video somewhere, but not with him.
Now, who does that red Jeep belong to? Does it belong to Ethan? Does it belong to Maddie? Does it belong to Kaylee? Does it belong to Xana? Does it belong to Dylan? Does it belong to Bethany? Or does it belong to another person that we don't know about? I think I know who it belongs to.
Damn, she's at the bottom of the barrel.
Dylan's mom. Dylan's mom seems to have that same red Jeep that's in the driveway. She posted it on her Facebook profile, public Facebook post, the red Jeep. But then I saw something else very, very interesting, and I want to share with you guys. Let's talk about Dylan. Dylan is one of the survivors that was in the home, that was downstairs and didn't see what was going on and woke up and allegedly found everyone or found individuals or whatever, and whatever. She's the survivor. Check this out.
Okay, so this is
Dylan in a Jeep.
The other two roommates, yep.
Looks like she was in the driver's seat of the Jeep. Did Ethan let Dylan drive the Jeep around at all? And now, is that relevant? I don't know. To this case whatsoever, I don't know. Is that the same Jeep that Dylan was in? That's Ethan's mom's Jeep? Does Ethan let people drive around in his Jeep or just pose for a picture? Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button. Just looking for any type of clues, scenarios, situations. Case is still unsolved. There's someone on the loose. 4 college students brutally stabbed in their home.
Right.
In a home. And police are not revealing anything. Community is on edge. People are panicking. Hopefully, authorities find answers soon. I wonder what they were looking in the car for today, authorities. I wonder what detectives were looking for in that vehicle. They opened it up, according to Brian Enton, News Nation, who was at the scene.
Okay.
Subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting more information and more stuff, interesting content very, very soon. I'm particularly interested in the fraternity, Sigma Chi fraternity. That's within eyesight of that house. So stay tuned.
Hello, Tracy. Welcome.
Let's get back to a story that we have.
As you guys come in, make sure you hit the like button. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know anything about that red Jeep until I was on Reddit this morning. I seen about it on Reddit, and then I seen that video, so I just added it to the playlist. So, not to mention a felon. Do you know if he is able to leave Florida yet, or is that part of his probation? Good gracious, y'all are going in on him. I know nothing about him, and I won't speak on him because I don't know nothing about him. So, but I mean that I've got checking out the red Jeep. Brian and Tim. He's good people. How is he impeding on this case? Oh, shit. All right, so let's check out this video. This video is Idaho student murders forensics experts calls killings the stuff of nightmares. All right, let's check it out real quick.
Following very closely here on Live Now from Fox, it's been 2 weeks since 4 University of Idaho students were found stabbed to death in their rooms. While police and federal agents have said they are following up on hundreds of leads, no suspects have been named, and there are still so many questions. I do want to bring in Joseph Scott Morgan. He is a forensics professor at Jacksonville State University and does have a hit podcast. Thank you so much for being here with us. We appreciate it.
Hey, good morning, Joshua. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, first off, your thoughts on this case that so many people are paying so close attention to.
Well, I think the first term that comes to mind is complex, and just the sheer volume of physical evidence that's going to be found at the scene could be quite daunting for all of those involved. The biological evidence, specifically as it's related to blood evidence, and of course from that springs DNA, and so it will make matters very difficult to weed through. The trick is how well are you planned in advance for an event like this, and what resources do you have at your disposal? The rub is, however, when you're talking about a smaller jurisdiction, they're not used to handling a case of this magnitude. It's not a knock against them. That's the reality of it. It's rural America, and they don't deal with quadruple knife-related or sharp force injury-related homicides. Not many people do, actually. This is kind of an outlier statistically.
No, you're welcome.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of the questions come into play, because you don't have that many quadruple homicides that are happening in Idaho, let alone in Moscow, Idaho, involving 4 university students that are murdered.
I've seen that. You're talking
about
from a
forensics perspective,
the interview room.
What might make this case a little bit more difficult or different than other murder cases?
Well, one of the things, going back to this idea of biological evidence, is what we refer to as commingling of the sample, where, they've talked at length, and you've heard a variety of different things stated relative to the weapon of choice. Hunting knife, somebody used the term Rambo knife, military-style knife. Either way, if it is the same weapon, just imagine, if you will, where you have 4 victims and the same weapon is being used over and over. The first victim that you have will kind of be the standalone, where you will not have DNA from the others. But if the same weapon is being utilized, and this is just the weapon, we're not talking about DNA that the perpetrator may have left behind or anything like that. You're moving from victim to victim to victim to victim. And when this happens, there's a commingling of DNA. And so to try to unspool that and in the lab is difficult. And I just hope that nothing has been compromised at the scene. I don't have any reason to believe that it has. But just that alone makes this complex. Not to mention the fact this house has been identified on several occasions as a location where people gather. So you've got this big collective of people that kind of come in, they hang out. Let's face it, everybody in college, might have had an off-campus location they went to and, met with their friends and that sort of thing. So those individuals that have inhabited that space, whether it's in just kind of a superficial way or maybe a more intimate way, have left some essence of their self behind. When you talk about things like touch DNA, which comes about as a result of sloughing dead skin cells. We slough thousands of these things every day, and so you get a partial strand from that. The really rich DNA that you're looking for is going to come from blood evidence. And in my experience, I worked for the coroner in New Orleans and for the ME in Atlanta for many, many years. And one of the things that happens every now and then with sharp force injuries, particularly where it's a frenzied event and they're talking about multiple stab wounds. is that the perpetrator will actually injure themselves, might not even be aware of it at the time because they're in such a heightened state. And if that happens, now you've got the perpetrator's DNA commingled in there as well.
And it does sound like there were people
Make sure
coming
you guys
in and
hit that
out of
like
there,
button.
not just in general, but maybe over the hours after the killings actually happened. Could that have contaminated anything at the scene? I know that's kind of a general question that you necessarily can't speak to as far as this specific case, but overall, could that have tampered with anything?
Well, yeah, anytime you introduce another person into this environment, they're bringing along with them their DNA. And just to wax kind of academic for a second, we have to understand, kind of our godfather
Thank you for sharing.
within forensics is a gentleman named Edmond Lacard.
Thank you, Jody, for
And
coming
he
by.
came up with something called his contact theory. And it basically states that every contact leaves a trace. Now, he came up with that over 100 years ago. It's pretty fascinating.
You're right, too, Amy.
Nowadays. But he understood even at that point in time, before we had DNA technology, that every time an individual introduces himself into what we would consider to be a pristine scene, they're bringing something with them, even if it's the police officers. You might have mud on your shoes. You might have some other trace evidence that's coming from your car, even maybe a fiber from the seat of your car or from your home that you introduce in there. So you've got kind of all of these issues that, when you start to look at it from a mathematical perspective, it kind of builds out like that exponentially. And it's something that you have to factor into everything that you do. And that's what they're doing right now. It does not surprise me, Joshua, that it's taking them this long. I think that they're being very careful. They've got fantastic resources at their disposal with just the folks at the FBI lab, not to mention the people with the Idaho State Police as well.
I agree with them.
Why do you think so many people across the country are paying such close attention to this case? It is high profile now.
Because we want justice.
I mean, there's articles released about it pretty much on an hourly basis. People are talking about it on social media a lot. Why might that be?
It's the stuff of nightmares. And I think that, when you begin to think that you're sending your child off to college, and then suddenly you have this, this mysterious perpetrator that comes through the door and wipes out, certainly 3 of the 6 people that are permanently domiciled there, or three of the 5 that are permanently domiciled there. And then you've got this one young man who happened to be there as well. It is the stuff of nightmares. And that, I think, from my experience with true crime, that's one of the things that fascinates people, because this is not something that happens necessarily in a vacuum. It's something that, many people, particularly those that have kids, can identify with. And they're thinking, no, is my child safe wherever they are? And the fact that no one has been caught, it's, when you look at the pool of potential suspects, this is not a big metropolis, right? People know one another up there. And so you begin to think, do we?
He's made some very good statements in this interview that he's doing now, like he was talking about with the fibers and all that's going to come into play here, because the killer has a lot of evidence on him in general when he comes into a place. So you got to think about the struggle and the quadruple murders in itself, right? It took energy to do what he did or she did. I'm going to say I'm going to say he or she, because we don't know at this point. Could it have been a woman that did this? Yes, because women are known for using knives too. You know what I'm saying? Like that was pointed out that women use knives. Now, a lot of men use guns, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a man. I'm not saying that. But in general, what I'm trying to say is he spoke on something very well in this interview so far about fibers and all that different type of stuff. If you've watched Forensic Files and you've watched all these cases unfold, there's been people that got caught because of a piece of the rug in their house. or a piece of fabric from their blanket or dog hair or cat hair. You know what I mean? Like, it's been proven. It's happened so many times that people have gotten caught over the littlest things that you wouldn't even think about. And that's what you got to play into factor here. Yeah, Forensic Files is my jam too. Hold on, let me check out some of these comments. Sechel says, an evil energy in this person is still out and about. Probably Christmas shopping. That's terrifying. Us women are innocent, Katie Bug says. I'm just saying, I'm throwing out there for the profile of this killer. It could be two people, a man and a man and a female. It could be a female. It could be, you never know. You really never know, right? I mean, we can't really say who it was. Let's see. Imagine some dude stands next to your bed in the middle of the night. Oh my God. Yeah, that's crazy, right? If things added up, we wouldn't be so obsessed with some of these cases. Nothing is adding up until hearing the 911 call now. Make it make sense, says Libby. Maggie K says, while I think that one individual did the killing, because according to police, as far as I've heard, only one weapon was identified. Party believes that somebody else was assisting. Now, that could be the case. Katie says, I'm just joking. No, I know you were joking. I figured that from your comment. 80% of violent crimes are men, according to 2020 U.S. Justice Report. So it's possible, but men is probable. And I agree with that too. I really do. In my heart and believing, I think it's a male that did this. I think it is a male that did this. And I'm going to stick with that. Could I be wrong? Yeah, I could be wrong. But I do think a male did this crime. Patty says, how could anyone be this to do this? What in the world was so wrong? You never know what was so wrong. Hunter Moon says, that's why I got ball bats everywhere, or ball bats by every door. Assisting as a lookout. A female could have been assisting as a lookout. You never know. Let's see. Chris, Olivia, where did you hear a 911 call? No, nobody. The 911 call is not out. Natasha Guy says only one weapon usually means only one killer. I believe it's a male too. I believe it's a male. What up, Snipe? What's good, man? Welcome. What's good with you? Mom to 5 Kings. When women kill, they often choose a knife. That's the only reason I mentioned that. Bonnie and Clyde. Never know. Let's get back into this video. Let's go back a little bit.
That happens necessarily in a vacuum. It's something that, many people, particularly those that have kids, can identify with. And they're thinking, is my child safe wherever they are? And the fact that no one has been caught, it's, when you look at the pool of potential suspects, this is not a big metropolis, right? People know one another up there. And so you begin to think, do we know this individual that has perpetrated something that's so markedly horrific? If, I think we've heard little snips of this along the way relative to the police, and some of the other people there. I think even the prosecutor, as he's famously walking down the street, he's given this interview kind of over his shoulder, corner. They talked about the level of violence that was there. And, I got to be honest, I was kind of taken back by the fact that they had released that information, that we had that much information, but we do know that the scene's quite ghastly. So I think that kind of captures the imagination of the people out there that are following this case and cases that are similar to it, Joshua.
In your opinion, any mess ups here, any problems that investigators might have caused in this case? Because as you mentioned, they're not necessarily used to dealing with such a high profile case in Moscow, Idaho. Have you seen anything that stuck out to you?
There was something that was mentioned along the way that, kind of piqued my interest, I think, as a former medical legal death investigator, which means, you work for the medical examiner in the coroner. You're the eyes and the ears of the medical examiner out in the field. For me, what it was I think that the coroner was not allowed access to the body for some time. That's not an uncommon practice. Where the problem is this. One of the things that we try to do at scenes when it comes to the examination of remains
Right.
to begin the measurement of what's referred to as postmortem interval. So, and that's things like that everybody's heard of, like rigor mortis. Okay. And then there's some other things like postmortem lividity, which is the settling of blood, and algor mortis, which is another term for the cooling that takes place after death. And we have these kind of measured scientific benchmarks that we look at, depending upon the environmental conditions that you're in. You have to examine the body within that. So the further down the timeline you move, you lose that data. And one of the key things here, Joshua, is the fact that timeline is an issue, isn't it? They want to try to understand. So, we can judge things like the rigidity of human remain, to what degree has fixation began in the joints relative to rigor mortis and settling of blood. And so any delay in the time that the coroner may have had to get there and examine those elements could be problematic. Of course, we don't fully understand what type of trace evidence she would have encountered making her way to the body. So they have to do this balancing act. Is it worth it to have the evidence, the physical evidence, compromised because of the position of the body, to allow her to do this? Or is it better that we just allow her to get to it after we've collected everything that we possibly can? Again, back to Lacard's, every contact leaves a trace. And so that can certainly be an issue as well.
All right, Joseph Scott Morgan, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Anything else that you want to make sure to mention before we let you go?
I think I plead with everybody to please be patient with these folks out there. They're doing everything that they can at this moment in time, and it's important that you just take a step back and understand they're under the gun. They're aware that they're under the gun. At least their managers are. I hope that that doesn't make it down to the rank and file officer or agent that's processing this, that they can kind of shut all of that out, really remain focused on what they have to do. They don't need any further outstanding distractions and that sort of thing, because the more their little world is compromised in this violence that has taken place, it's going to impede their ability to move this case forward and try to identify who did this and get them off the streets.
And before I let you go, do you think they do already have a suspect or suspects in mind and probably know who did this?
I have no way of knowing. I would hope that they would have gone through, and I would imagine they would have, say, for instance, like the CODIS database, locally, just to identify anybody that might be in that environment that might be identified as a predator. If they have that already ramped up, if they find an unknown DNA sample, they can plug that into the database and see if they come back with a hit. And not to mention, it's good old-fashioned shoe leather on the part of the investigators, where they're going door to door. And one of the problems that are, as a college professor, I can speak to this. One of the problems that arises is, and this is quite striking, is the fact that, remember, as this horrific slaughter took place, kids had already been eyeballing, the students had already been eyeballing Thanksgiving vacation coming up. They already had plans to leave. So unlike a regular population, where people are kind of seated in that location, they live
Hi, Grizzlies, and welcome
that sort of thing. That's not what the university is like. It's kind of transient. So you've already got people that are looking to get back home. Well, this stimulus is added to that, is factored in. And now, even by the admission of the president, when he gave one of his comments, he said, look, I know people are scared. Some people might not come back. We're going to go ahead and set things up for online classes, and that's all fine and good. But here's the problem. Even if you are a peripheral player in this, that you didn't directly know these individuals that were slaughtered, you might have some kind of knowledge, something that you heard, something that you saw, that if the police were eye to eye with you and they were communicating with you, they could elicit that information from you. and it would go to painting a better picture. A better picture. Now you've got kids that are scared. Some might not come back. Well, you don't know if therein lies the key. There was also, I think, and this has to be factored in as well, there was an opportunity for potentially the perpetrator to have slipped out of town as well, because you've got this kind of mass exodus. If we are to believe what we've heard, I've heard the term ghost town used a lot, and generally over Thanksgiving vacation is the time when that happens. Nobody wants to be there any longer. They have to be. They want to get back to their family. The trick is we're back in session now. How many kids have come back? Is there a noticeable, number that have kind of chosen not to? And the police are going to have, kind of their work level is going to be amped up because they're going to have to reach out to those people that chose not to come back. And also, we're so far down the road now, over 2 weeks, memories go cold. Even that short period of time, things that might have been fresh at that moment in time aren't so fresh now.
All right, Joseph Scott Morgan, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
That was a good breakdown.
You have a good day.
Now to a murder mystery in Idaho.
I think the killer, hold up, she said, I think the killer is in these chats watching all the creators, which is very possible. That is very friggin' possible. Marlena says. Maggie says, as the killer is murdering, the other student had to have heard and witnessed it. Therefore, I believe there was another ID, maybe choking the other victim until the killer could get to the other. That's a good breakdown on that. Let's see what else we got here. According to court documents, bullet found near Abu and Libby German tied back to suspect Richard Allen. Oh wow. This was useless segment in my opinion. Yeah, could be. Live now, Fox News. What's that on? What is that on? Hold up, let me check. Let me go to Let me check what you're talking about real quick. Pull up a separate thing over here. Oh, I thought it was talking about live now about this. Huh. It's on some other shit. Okay,
Monday
let's
will
jump
mark
into this.
exactly 2 weeks since the gruesome stabbings of 4 University of Idaho college students.
Police still have no suspect and no murder weapon. And investigators say they see no connection between the brutal attack and 2 other unsolved cases in neighboring states.
Fox News correspondent Dan Springer has more from Moscow, Idaho.
Tomorrow marks 2 weeks since the brutal murders of those 4 students just off the campus of the University of Idaho, and police are entering a crucial week as they work to solve this crime before the case goes cold. Blood evidence and hair samples collected at the crime scene have been processed in a mobile forensics unit and uploaded into CODIS, which is the Criminal Justice DNA database. Results should be back by now that could either identify a suspect or at least narrow the field. The FBI's Behavior Analysis Unit, which has been on this case for over a week, was back at the murder scene yesterday. They left the house carrying some small bags. We know police are still getting help from the public. They received 260 digital pictures and videos from people's security cameras in the area. There was also activity last night at the Moscow Police Department as detectives
Thank you. I appreciate you doing that.
At one point, we saw Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson meeting with FBI agents. He was also back today. He has been checking in here every day since the murders. Tonight, Lawrence Jones of Fox News will air his 1-hour show from Moscow and focus on this case exclusively. He'll be interviewing the father of Kaylee Gonsalves, who was told by police that only one of the victims.
Is it Gonsalves? So I've been saying Goncalves and it's Gonsalves. Did he say that wrong or do I say it wrong? Hold up.
And focus on this case exclusively. He'll be interviewing the father of Kaylee Gonsalves, who was told by police that only one of the victims was targeted by the killer. Police also tracked over 100 pieces of information about a possible stalker Kaylee may have had. but they have yet to confirm that detail. So the investigation continues, looking for the murder weapon, any possible leads on a suspect. On Monday, students will be back on campus, resuming classes. If they're too worried for their safety,
I'm good.
they can
I'd
finish
pass
the
on that.
semester at home.
Yeah.
And if they are back on campus, we expect many of them will be at a candlelight vigil for those 4 victims on Wednesday. In Moscow, Idaho, Dan Springer, Fox News.
University of Idaho students go back to class after the long holiday weekend as police.
All right, so this video came out 19 hours ago. This video came out 19 hours ago. So all the videos that I have up on here presented for today have just recently came out. I didn't really grab any old videos. I made sure I grabbed newer videos as we can keep up with them.
Seem to have few leads in the murders of 4 students at their home off campus. I'm Anjanette Levy, and welcome to Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. We are taking a closer look at what we know so far in the murders of those 4 students a little more than 2 weeks ago. Maddie Mogan, Kaylee Goncalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle had been out for the night and were killed sometime after they returned home in the early morning hours of November 13th. Maddie and Kaylee were captured on a Twitch stream video at the Grub Truck. That was a food truck shortly before they went home for the night. They had been at the Corner Club bar before that. Ethan and Xana were dating and had been at a party at the Sigma Chi house earlier in the evening. Here's Captain Roger Lanier of the Moscow Police Department discussing the timeline so far.
On the evening of November 12th and into the early morning hours of November 13th, Kaylee and Madison arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. after visiting a local bar and a street food vendor. Ethan and Xana were also out in the community at Sigma Chi, and they arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. 2 surviving roommates who were also out in the community arrived home at approximately 1 a.m.
Now, later that morning, it was 11:58 a.m. A 911 call was placed from one of the surviving roommates' cell phones. They had actually called a friend to the house because they believed one of the people who was actually killed was sleeping and unconscious. Police say the 911 call takers had actually spoken to more than one person who was at the home at the time. Autopsies revealed that the victims were all stabbed, and some of them had defensive wounds. Others were stabbed as they were sleeping. Police have said there were no signs of sexual assault. So far, police say they've been able to rule out some people related to the investigation. Joining me to discuss the very latest on this case is forensic death investigator Joseph Scott Morgan, who's been following this case very closely since the beginning. Joseph, welcome back to Sidebar. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Anjanette.
You know, the timing of this is really interesting and kind of peculiar. This happened, a week and a half before the long holiday weekend. So is there any way that could have impacted the investigation, the fact that kids may have been getting ready to go home for the holiday?
Yeah. In my estimation, yes, of course it could. As a college professor myself and living, and working in a university environment, it's kind of amazing when you have these events that kind of shake the university to its core, and it extends out. And with an event like this, you've already, let's just think about what the kids are thinking about at this moment in time. Prior to this event, they've had a long semester. They're coming to the end of it. They see the finish line. Thanksgiving is on this way, and all of a sudden, bam, this horrible event occurs. They were already thinking about leaving anyway. The floodgate was kind of open, when news, kind of leached out about this, and people were probably stumbling over themselves to get to their cars, to leave, leave to safety, to get home. And from an investigative standpoint, this is a perfect storm. You begin to see things in a different light. You think, well, is it worth me hanging around for another day, another night, when I know that people that might not be in my immediate circle, but are at least peripheral to me, have had this event that has rocked us to our core? I think I'm leaving. Well, when that happens, the investigators lose a big chunk of potential interviewees. They've left. And here's the thing about doing an investigation. Sometimes for the investigators, they can stimulate something in the brain of an interviewee that the interviewee might not have thought about. And all of a sudden information comes out. It comes flowing back to the police. And think about how large this university is. If I've heard estimates of, 10 to 11,000 people inhabit this small space. It's amazing how many of these individuals may very well have data contained in their brain or in their remembrances that they might, just dismiss and say, well, that wasn't important. But then you contextualize it when you're sitting across the table from an investigator, and suddenly something clicks and you have important data flowing in. Now we're 2 weeks downrange at this moment in time. Think about this. 2 weeks downrange, memories begin to fade after this period of time. Recall is not immediate. So not only do you have a scene that is highly complex from a forensic standpoint, from when you're trying to gather biological evidence, now on the other side,
Thank you. I'm going to pull that up.
You've got this kind of lack of communication or interaction with individuals that might have knowledge about the case.
So I would assume as an investigator, you would want to kind of put that plea out again. If you have kids who are returning back to school, you put that plea out again, or you're going through, the cell phone dumps of these victims, which can be very tedious and time consuming. And you're probably looking to, say, hey, we need to talk to you. Anybody who knew these people, who knew any of the victims, who might have some information. So I'm assuming we'll hear another plea for people to come forward.
Yeah, you will. And the other thing that you have to kind of entertain with this, and you don't know if their remembrances have now been kind of polluted by virtue of the fact of everything they've heard in the news. Because trust me, when they're at home, they've been watching this. And they're back at mom and dad's house. They've been watching this. This is where they go to school. This is where they live their lives. And so all of that data is coming in, and it can perhaps impact those remembrances that we just talked about. And it kind of creates a headache for the investigators, and it diminishes the potential for clarity. If you had gotten to people like within, that 24 to 48 hour window, that could have worked. And, this increases exponentially. We've got 4 victims. So each one of these victims have individual lives where they're going to class, they're going out to eat, maybe they've got jobs, and they're interacting with all of these different people that populate this area. So, from a mathematical standpoint, when you begin to think about this, it becomes highly complex. And, that again is a problem.
I've been looking at some of the stats that the Moscow Police Department has released. So far, more than 260 pieces of digital evidence, whether that's photographs or video, have been uploaded to the FBI's link. 113 pieces of physical evidence have been submitted to the Idaho State Police Crime Lab for processing. We know those things can take some time, even though they may be putting a rush on it. So we're a little more than 2 weeks in. What should investigators know by now?
Well, I think that what they know, and this is, kind of obvious, on my part, when you begin to think about this, they know that they have something that they're dealing with that is very complex, particularly when you begin to think about the biological evidence that I've already mentioned. I always return back to the idea of commingling of this evidence. And I'm talking specifically about blood evidence. And also that's layered on top of that, Anjanette, is the problem. If we are to believe what we have heard, this location was a hangout spot for a lot of kids that come and go. And there's no negative connotation. People do that in college. I did that in college. Everybody I know did that in college. There was a place that you went to, friends, off campus. Well, for every person that entered into that residence, there's a potential that they left some remnant of themselves behind. And right now I'm talking about touch DNA. Not only that, I'm thinking about the shedding of hair, because you lose hair in this environment as well. And the trouble that presents for the forensic scientist is they have to wade through all of that potential data and examine it bit by bit to try and understand who this is connected to. Also, you begin to kind of whittle this down. Your 5, well, let me see, let me get my arithmetic right. Your 6 knowns that inhabit that space day in and day out. You've got 5 roommates and you've got a boyfriend. Well, you also have to think about, did anybody else in that environment have a romantic partner that might be visiting that location on a more than regular basis? They're kind of in and out. They might have access to the property. So that's another person that would be connected to this. Then you think about, well, did parents help anybody move in or move out? Have parents been there? So you think about their DNA. And then you've got the hangout crowd, all of those people that kind of migrate through this location in and out. What are they dragging in with them? So it is a daunting undertaking for people that work in trace evidence, and specifically for those that work in DNA.
And police have been battling a lot of things having to do with this case, including the spread of rumors. And they addressed one of these when they discussed the 911 call that was placed from the home on November 13th. So let's listen as Captain Lanier discusses the 911 call in this case.
We have not released the names of any of the subjects who spoke on the 911 call, and we have not released the call itself. Any online reports of the victims being tied and gagged are not accurate.
Joseph, you heard Captain Lanier saying that the victims in this case were not tied or gagged or anything like that. So obviously there are a lot of rumors spreading about this case, and they're trying to dispel those rumors. But the 911 call itself, do you find it unusual that that has not been released? A lot of times in cases, we hear these 911 calls. They're released pretty quickly, but they're not talking about who was on the call, who placed the call, and they're not letting us hear it. So why is that?
Yeah, I think that it's a major piece of evidence, or at least the police view it.
I seen you say that in the interview.
They want to try to keep this as locked down as they possibly can. I take issue, I think, with people that say that the police are lagging, or they're not on top of things as they should be. I think just the opposite. I think they're really on top of this, and that they're trying to keep in check all of the evidence that they have, whether it be, the blood evidence. And, I've heard all these wild things about people, perpetrator possibly taking a shower at the residence and brought a change of clothes with them. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but a lot of the stuff is wild speculation because people want information for whatever reason. And I don't necessarily think that it's the
Make sure y'all smash that like button.
Occupied Moscow, Idaho. I think more than anybody, they want these crimes solved. People just have a thirst for information. And so things can kick off very, very easily, and rumors can start. I have no understanding where the idea of binding came up.
It seems like it would be unusual with 4 victims, right?
Yeah, it would be. How are you going to maintain that? And then, you open the door up. Well, I've heard people say that there was more than one perpetrator. I even heard one wild rumor that said there were 3 that went in. And, I don't see how people are coming to these conclusions at this point. And at this point, it's total and complete speculation until the police confirm it. And they're not going to release any of this information. Information is the coin of the realm, if you will. The data here is the coin of the realm. And they have to protect it very carefully. Because if they don't know who the perpetrator is, okay, at this point, anything that they can release, if they capture somebody in this case, any information that is disseminated to the general public is disseminated to the perpetrator. And they can adjust their statement, when they are finally brought in for questioning.
It's interesting you bring that up because one of the things I've been thinking about is the fact that they've released information about the murder weapon in this case, or at least what they believe to be the murder weapon. And they've said that they believe they're looking for
Send
a
it to me,
fixed
Jenny.
blade knife. That to me was pretty shocking because I'm listening to this press conference and they're talking about this, and this seems like a really key piece of evidence. It is the key piece of evidence in this case. It could lead you to the killer. Obviously, you want the public to know maybe what you're looking for and if they've seen something like this, but it also tips off the killer. So what were your thoughts on them releasing the fact that they believe this was a fixed blade knife? Because they were obviously probably able to tell what made these wounds, or at least the coroner was able to do so.
Yeah, they would have been, and I was shocked. Because let's go over the descriptors that we've heard. We've heard military style, we've heard Rambo style, we've heard hunting knife, and more specifically, we've heard K-bar. And K-bar is a type of knife that is associated primarily with Marine Corps. Our Marines have carried K-bar since, I'm probably going to get this wrong, but I think since World War II or maybe even before. It's a very specific type of knife. You can purchase them anywhere, though. You don't have to be a Marine to own one. And so that's very specific. Where's all of that coming from? Okay, all of these different identifiers relative to the type of knife that keeps coming up. I think the one thing that you can take away from this is that it is a single-edged weapon. Okay, because military style knives are not double-edged weapons, where you're thinking about like a dagger, for instance. It has, with military style knife, they have a facility to them where you'll have an edge side, and many times along the spine, that is the bulky backside part of it, you can have a saw, like saw teeth, and they're very robust looking. So that if you're in a survival situation, you can saw down small saplings and these sorts of things. Also, a military style knife, one of the features of it, and remember, you said fixed blade. This is not a flip knife. This is not like what people would call a pocket knife or a buck knife or that sort of thing. Many times with
Definitely
a military style knife, it will have a hilt guard, and that's that little bar that separates the handle.
Now that's what I was talking about in my video yesterday, was that hilt guard. So when somebody is stabbing you with that, it will bruise. That's how they can kind of tell what kind of knife build it is, because when you're being stabbed with it and it's being pushed inside of you, it stops at that hilt, and that hilt will leave bruising on the skin. So that's where I was getting at yesterday in my video that I made, the 20-minute video that I put out yesterday with my own timeline that I created from watching and reading news articles and just taking notes on my notepad. That's where I had got that from, is, the breakdown on the K-bar knife. So, what a 6-7 inch blade, when it gets put inside of you or stabbed inside and it goes fully in, it's going to stop at that spot and it's going to bruise your skin. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I had got that from, and that's why I had mentioned that in my video yesterday that I dropped.
From the blade. And when you're examining wounds that are brought about as a result of the use of a weapon with a hilt guard, it'll leave a contusion around the actual wound itself.
See?
Because obviously that's not going to penetrate into the body, but it'll contuse the body as a result of the stab wound. So you've got the blade leading into the body, and then where the hilt guard is, it will leave a contusion adjacent to the injury itself, to the fatal injury, or to the stab wound, rather.
I want to take a look now at just this TikTok video that Kaylee Goncalves posted on October 27th. It's just her and some of the roommates just having a little bit of fun.
Hey guys, I know I talk about myself a lot, but what would you guys do in my situation?
Wow.
Dana, where are you going? You guys are going to pull your ass failed trauma already.
Joseph, it's really sad for me to look at this video and to see these girls, these young women really just having a fun time, and then to think what happened to two of them a couple of weeks later. One of the things that they've been talking about on these press conferences is the fact that there have been reports that Kaylee Goncalves thought she had a stalker. The police said they've been looking into that and they haven't found any evidence of that, but that they are continuing to look into that. These are people, you know, obviously who were really active on social media. So your thoughts on this kind of rumor that's been spreading around, or maybe it's not really a rumor, but the information that she may have had a stalker?
Yeah, well, this is the age that we live in, because it's not just, you know, your business, or even back in the days before there was this proliferation of social media. You know, it's not just like the population of the University of Idaho is involved in this. Now you're sending this out far and wide. Everybody has access, and as scary as this is, an insight into your life. You just mentioned, you know, them kind of cutting up in this environment, imitating one another, that sort of thing. That's very intimate. You know, in the past, we might have a joke between us as friends, and you know, might mimic another person. Now that view into their life is very intimate, and it gives you a peek, you know, into a window of their life. And for every little peek that you glean there, the opportunity is that anybody that is a vicious killer, that's opportunistic, can see the world that you inhabit. Because what did we learn? Well, we learned something about the personalities of these young women. We learned something about the physical structure, didn't we? We could see. I think I saw a staircase in there. I saw them, you know, walking around. You know, you kind of get a sense for the orientation of the place. Yeah, yeah. And so you're opening the whole world up to the space that you occupy in the most intimate sense. Everybody can see, and it's terrifying.
I agree,
It is
man.
absolutely terrifying. Well, Joseph Scott Morgan, we want people who have information, tips about this case, suspicions, even if people think it's not important, they need to report it to law enforcement, and they can do that. There's a tip line. It's 208-883-7180. There's also an email. It's tipline@ci.moscow.id.us. And digital media, photos, videos can be uploaded to fbi.gov/Moscow, Idaho. Joseph Scott Morgan, forensic death investigator, thanks as always for your time and your expertise. We really appreciate it. And that's it for this edition of Law and Crime Sidebar podcast. It is produced by Sam Goldberg. Logan Harris does our video editing. Bobby Zoki is our YouTube manager. Alyssa Fisher handles our bookings, and Kiara Bronson does our social media. You can download and listen to Sidebar on Apple.
Okay, so let's go to here real quick. And I had this sent. Let's pull this up.
So my name is Stacy Chapin. I thought I could do this. You got it. Today we're here to honor the life and legacy of our son and brother, Ethan Chapin, one of the most incredible people you'll ever know. Together, we want to extend gratitude to the following.
Wow.
Our neighbors in Mount Vernon and LaConner, Washington, and the local communities of Priest Lake and Moscow, Idaho, for their ongoing support and care. Our extended family and friends who serve as beacons of strength and remain by our side throughout every moment. The Moscow Police Department, who now carry the burden every day, not only for us, but for all of the impacted families. And the many strangers across the country. Your outreach and kind words are profoundly touching. Please know we now consider all of you friends. And lastly, we thank the media for keeping this story top of mind. Thank you.
Wow. So somebody had, or actually Jenny sent that to me. Now, what did you think was bad about that video? Didn't you say something about it was awkward to remind you of Lindsay Neiman? What does that remind you of Lindsay Neiman? Like, what about it? What reminds you of that? I'm just curious. Listen to her pauses and as she says stuff. Jenny says. She said it reminded her of Lindsay Neiman from the Kylie Rodney case, which is Kylie Rodney's mom, for people who do not know. Hello, Freckles. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I appreciate you guys joining me this morning on 11/29/2022. Make sure you hit that like button, sub up for All True Crime, and, you know, some other things. We dabble with the spirit box, and I'll be doing some tarot readings, and I make music. So if you're interested in any of those topics, make sure you hit subscribe to the channel. If you like the channel, become a member. Yeah, that's that. But what do you think is similar to Lindsay Neiman in that? I was just curious. I mean, because everybody's right to their opinion. I respect your opinion, but I really didn't get those vibes from her. But like I said, I respect your opinion on what you're saying. Anybody who wants to join and come up, I do have the panel pinned up top. You can join. You just have to show me you're real. You do not have to come up and stay on camera or nothing. You can come up and flick back to your picture. I just need to know that you're real and a real person. So if you want to come up and have a conversation about these murders, or your theory about these murders, or what you allegedly think, I'm open to anyone coming up and speaking your theory. So let me read some of these comments that are coming in. Let's see. Okay, I believe Ethan's mom is more sincere, but how she takes breaks between the sentences, Jenny says. Okay, so that's what she had said on that. I think not like Lindsay. She is a tough mom, though. Glad you are on here. Freckles, thank you for coming by. I appreciate you. It's nice seeing you, as usual. Tam Aura says no, not at all. Oh no. Marie says she a broken-hearted mother. My heart goes out to them. All I couldn't even imagine the pain they're going through. Right. I couldn't imagine the pain they're going through either. Listen to it one more time so we can listen for what she's talking about. Maybe I didn't catch it. So if we go back up to Jenny's comment, she was talking about Lindsay Neiman from the Kylie Rodney case. She said that I believe Ethan's mom is more sincere, but how she takes breaks between sentences. So she's saying because of the breaks is what makes her think that. So I get what she's saying. Yeah, not like Lindsay. Freckles says interesting. Lee Hillis says, who are we to judge that lady whose son was just murdered? Right. I get it. Yeah. No, I respect that opinion too, Lee. Absolutely do. She said top of mind. Okay. Steffi says she's a tough mama, though. Praying for her. I think that she had to prep herself to do it. I mean, we could go back and play it again. All right. So we can go back and play that. Let's see what she's talking about on the pauses here. Let's see what she's talking about.
So my name is Stacy Chapin. I thought I could do this. Today we're here to honor the life and legacy of our son and brother, Ethan Chapin, one of the most incredible people you'll ever know. Together we want to extend gratitude to the following.
Hold on. I want to explain something real quick because listen here. All right. So I want to break this down, and maybe this is a good point, and I want to give this point out before we watch this video. She has a statement that is written by not only her, but her family. And I'm going off of maybe the brothers of the brothers, sisters of the victim. So she's reading it off and speaking for the family's behalf. So maybe that's why, and it's hard for her and she's choked up about it. Or, because that's what it looks like to me. Because if you go back and listen right here, she says she's speaking for, listen, watch.
Legacy of our son, Chapin. So my name is Stacy Chapin.
Listen right here.
I thought I could do this. Today we're here to honor the life and legacy of our son.
Yeah, that's the family. Look.
And brother, Ethan Chapin, one of the most incredible people you'll ever know. Together, we want to extend gratitude to the following. Our neighbors in Mount Vernon and LaConner, Washington, and the local communities of Priest Lake and Moscow, Idaho, for their ongoing support and care. Our extended family and friends who serve as beacons of strength and remain by our side throughout every moment. The Moscow Police Department, who now carry the burden every day, not only for us, but for all of the impacted families. And the many strangers across the country, your outreach and kind words are profoundly touching. Please know we now consider all of you friends. And lastly, we thank the media for keeping this story top of mind. Thank you.
Okay, so I think she was talking about the pauses, but I think the pauses have to do with the emotion. And this is just my opinion on this one. I totally read this different than Lindsay Neiman's friggin' goofy statement. Lindsay Neiman is just, I don't know. I didn't get that vibe from her in general, but some of you, everybody else gets different vibes. So, and I respect everybody's opinion to the fullest, even if I agree to disagree. I think that she was speaking for the family, and that was their statement that she wrote that, or that they wrote down together, and it was just hard for her to get that out. That's just my opinion. I don't know what your guys' opinion is. I get a real read off of her. I feel that it's genuine. I think I see. Look, that's tears on my guy on the brother's eyes right here. You know, and look at, you know, she's very concerned too, and I get a genuine feel here. I get a genuine feel. That's just me though. She is appreciative of the press, though. Jenny says she is pausing to take deep breath from not breaking down. We should not be judging her, really, says Patty. Thank you for sharing. Often when families go through drama like this, they are often temporarily on medication. The medication they give sometimes slows everything down. Honestly, I think she slowed down just based off emotion and grief. That's just my opinion, though. I don't know if she's on medication. I cannot speak for that because I don't know that, and I don't want to put out any misinformation by even guessing. You know, I just can't, you know, we can't imagine, you know, to lose a child, to lose somebody that, you know, you brought into this world and put off into college and they were on to do good things, and suddenly a tragic accident, or not accident, a tragic murder, your son was stole from you. I can only imagine what she's going through. And I get an honest read from her. I don't feel any bad vibes. I don't feel that anything's bad with her energy wise. I feel like she was just reading a statement from the family that they all came up with together to write down, and she spoke it. So I get a heart-to-heart read on that. Says, look, I've lost a son. Marlena says, look, I've lost a son. I know that pain. In my opinion, she's trying to hold it together when really what she wants to do is drop to the floor and scream, in my opinion. Marlena, thank you for sharing that. Tam R says this lady is real. Libby says everyone grieves differently. Yeah, it was a little odd at the end, but still not Lindsay vibes. Miss G, the honey badger says, me, myself, do not get the written statement. I speak from the heart and only speak truth. No draft copies here. I understand that. But you also got to understand she's speaking for him, her. And I'm guessing, you know, Ethan's triplets, right? I would guess that's his sister and brother. And my monitor just completely shut off on me just now out of nowhere. So I don't know what kind of energy is around me. But as I speak about Ethan and his family and his triplets, my monitor just literally flickered. And if you were in here for the Spirit Box sessions, then you know that is some type of sign. My hands are freezing right now, but we'll keep on moving. She is reading, and I see mom is a wreck. Tam says she's a mess. Agree. Marlena, yes, that's his brother Hunter. Oh my God, I just got a cold ass draft rub against me. It is very hard to lose a child. You are bound to be erratic, and it just overwhelmed. My heart drops every time she says, I can't do this. She's being strong for Hunter and Maisie. Why do I feel like I'm being poked in my back right now? That's weird. See, I don't think I could do it. Okay. Jenny says, oh, I agree. She is genuine, and both siblings have tears in their eyes. I was just assessing, you know. Don't kill me, but she seems odd to me. But I'm not up on this case a lot either, says Katie Bug. 2 kids behind her caught me. Yeah, they look mad too. Can't y'all imagine I would want to kill whoever took my brother's life, not be at no damn press conference. Hunter Moon says, mourning mothers find strength to speak about our child through tears. She's genuine in my opinion. Yeah, that was weird that my monitor just shut off. But yeah, let's keep on moving through these videos. That's Ethan saying, leave his mom alone. Very possible, because I just got a weird energy around me as we were talking about this, and my monitor literally shut off. My monitor that controls StreamYard shut off from reading your guys' comments for like literally 3 seconds. That's the Hunter we hear on the box all the time. Good to put a face with the name. Yes, Marlena, me too. Sister, prayers for your heart. That live spirit said, brother, wonder who they meant. Not this guy, in my opinion. Yeah, as we were talking about this, literally my monitor flickered. And there's barely any power on in this room right now besides my 2 monitors, my computer, and my lighting. That's it. So let's move on to the next video. Thank you for sharing that, Jenny. I appreciate that you sharing that, and I respect your opinion on it too. This was what Akid Mail had a video. Let's check it out. Screw it.
Taking new measures to protect themselves. Now carry a weapon on me. I used to do that before I moved up to Moscow. Moved to Moscow, thought it was super safe, stopped, and then this happened, and so at least if and until they find who did.
Okay. I find this interesting because I've seen a psychic reading that said that the guy lives across the street and was watching him, and look what it says right here. Now, I don't know if the Jeremy interviews were out by the time the psychic had got to that, but I do think it's interesting. I do believe in psychics. That's just me. Some people don't. I heavily do.
Did it. I'm going to continue carrying a weapon on me again until we have the details of sort of what caused the police to think it was a homicide. Then I'm still not entirely sure about it.
What is up, it's Akid Mel? Welcome back. And the neighbor that's been interviewed a couple of times, Jeremy, he's spoken up on Reddit, and he's kind of snapping back a little bit at people that have been harassing him. And Bandera Rojo sent me this post on Reddit, and I thought it'd be a good read to go over. And again, I always say, like, don't be doing witch hunts. You know, yeah, this guy's on the news. Police are aware of him. I guess he literally lives next door. You're not going to go do something the police can't do by like searching, hunting down, doing all this kind of stuff. Anyway, 17 hours ago, Jeremy here, couple of preliminary matters. Okay. And his name, Stop Blaming Me, JR. This account was created today, within 24 hours. Couple of preliminary matters. This is a throwaway account, so I don't get harassed on my main account. Number 2, you all need to stop blaming me for something I had nothing to do with. Yes, I'm an incredibly awkward person, but that does not mean I have killed or attempted to kill anybody, which a lot of times, you know, I get phone calls from people. Sometimes they're kind of shy. They're kind of awkward. I can be kind of awkward sometimes too. I embrace awkwardness, but especially if you're like on TV or on the news, you know, it's like a thing. It's a serious situation. Everybody reacts differently. Everybody has these different tics and stuff like that. And I actually got asked towards the end of my live stream earlier today if I believe this guy has anything to do with it. And I said, no, I don't believe there's any indication. Hey, Icky, what's your opinion on the people speculating on the neighbor, Jeremy? I don't see any connection there. I don't have any inclination that he did anything. I just think it's interesting that he lives right next door and he can maybe give some insight, but doesn't know anything as far as the neighborhood, but doesn't know, or even the partying stuff, which was interesting, but it doesn't like particularly know anything about the crime more than anybody else does. So it goes on to say, I did not ask to do any of the interviews or seek them out in any way, nor did I claim to have any beneficial information about what happened. I was approached every time to do an interview and told the reporter beforehand that I did not know anything. They still wanted to interview me due to the proximity, so I said sure. Number 3, for the first interview, the reporter knocked on my door and asked if I would do the interview since I live so close. For the second interview, I was taking my trash out to the...
I do want to say this, guys. A lot of people hate on Ikemel and stuff like that, and a lot of people hate on it, and I've said shit in the past, you know, because him and Ryan had a problem, but you got to have an open mind and be subjective to things that are put out there. And I like to go over things. I do not personally know Ikemel. I do know that he put videos out. I've seen what Ryan put out about him. So I've seen those things, but who am I to jump out here and judge this man? I do not know at all. He does come with some good information, and that's just my opinion. Even if you don't like it, he does come out with some decent information. Some of it, there's been some weird information, and then there's been some really great information that's came out from him. That's just my opinion. I'm not hating on dude. I got no ill will towards him. I do appreciate the work and stuff that he puts out that, you know, is genuine. And that's just my take on Ikemel in general.
The dumpster before I left for Thanksgiving break, and the reporter approached me while I still had the trash in my hand and asked if I would do an interview. Obviously, she let me throw it out before doing the interview. I'm the type of person that will do something for someone else if doing so won't cause me physical or financial harm. Hence the reason I said yes to the interviews. I also didn't expect to be contacted by the national news outlets. I was shopping for my grandma when I received emails from CNN and Fox and Friends stating that they saw my interviews and wanted me for an interview on their network. So I told them I didn't know anything, but like the other reporters, they still wanted me on because of how close I live.
I respect your opinion, Maria.
Now that that's out of the way, to some of the rumors. Number 1, I do not work, nor have I ever worked at the bagel shop in Moscow Bagels. Okay, I haven't even heard of that. I've only eaten food there 3 to 4 times since I've been in Moscow. I keep saying Moscow. I know everybody keeps correcting me. Moscow. The photo of my face staring into the sky like I'm daydreaming is clearly photoshopped. I have not even seen none of this crazy shit that these people are doing or claiming on the internet. I've really just looked at this guy's public interviews. I haven't had the thought, let me go investigate this guy personally and his friends and his family and look into his daily eating habits of where he goes to eat his bagels. And the Photoshop skills are almost good enough that you can't see the original head underneath where my face was placed. I guess there's trolls. The other photo I've seen with 4 people outside and a guy with a similar facial hair and a hat does not include me. The guy's chin is too skinny to be me. He is too tall. I also don't own a hat like the one he is wearing. Number 2, yes, I rambled during interviews. The first interview I did, black t-shirt, had the majority of what I said edited out. And a quick note on that, I always recommend, I mean, if you're a civilian, it's kind of different, but I even just legally to cover yourself, if you're going to do an interview with the news, always have somebody recording you or record yourself. When I was interviewed by KHU regarding Malia Davis, that's exactly what I did. They post little short clips and segments because of the TV show, but I would say always cover yourself and have the full entirety of the interview in case. Majority of what I said was edited out, so I figured the second one, Beanie and Coat, would be the same way. I was wrong because clearly most of what I said was aired in the second interview. I did change the verb tense of a sentence part way through. That was because what my brain was trying to say and what my mouth was saying would have come out incoherent if I hadn't corrected the tense. Don't act like none of you have ever changed a few words when speaking because you realize the sentence would have sounded weird without correction. It's a normal thing to do when you're speaking about something you didn't know you were going to be speaking about. Number 3. Yes, I had my thumbs in the thumb holes during that second interview. It wasn't bandages. And I remember people talking, I didn't even know what they were talking about. I had heard some people saying something about bandages and did you see that and look and blah, blah, blah. I wasn't trying to hide anything. Having my thumb in the thumb holes is the natural position when I put my arms in my sleeves because they're built into my coat sleeves. Plus, it was cold.
Hold on. All right, so now I want to show y'all who he's speaking on, okay? You ready this is who he's speaking on. He is speaking on neighbor of murdered University of Idaho students, snaps at critics and psychics. So I'm assuming that this is Jeremy.
outside. If I was trying to hide any injuries, why would I have worn nothing but a t-shirt during my first interview? Don't you think either of the two people speaking with me would have noticed something on my arms or
Thank
hands?
you all for being here.
Some of you are trying to use logic so hard that you forget logic exists when you're reaching your ridiculous conclusions. Seems like Jeremy is fed up, and I realized he made a really, really lengthy post. So he must be, Number 4, yes, I said I would see people through the windows while I was taking my dog out. That doesn't mean I was being creepy or staring in their windows. First of all, go find the video from the interview room on YouTube, because the people went to the location and filmed everything in the area to give a complete picture of what the entire neighborhood looks like. Second, the staircase that is directly across the driveway from the house that leads to the large grassy field across Taylor Avenue is the path my dog uses to get to and from the field and my apartment. If I were to walk up the stairs and walk in a completely straight line from there, I would walk directly into the front of the house. Where else am I supposed to look when my direct line of sight forward is straight at the house? Do you want me to stare at my feet like a weirdo? Do none of you ever look at your surroundings as you walk? Oops. Sorry for all the wannabe internet detectives probably haven't seen an actual sunlight in years. There's nothing creepy or weird about noticing my surroundings as I'm walking back to my apartment, especially if there is movement in the windows, because people are moving around inside. 4, I've never been inside the house.
Oh, I see you. Not enough. You can, if you want to turn your camera off, you can. I see you, real. Or if you want to leave it on, you can too. Okay. Hello. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. You can continue on with the interview, honey.
Okay. I got you. We'll continue it.
The one time I was even within a few feet of the house was when I found a phone left on the staircase mentioned above one morning last semester. Oh, what? The one time that I was even within a few feet of the house was the one time I found a phone left on the staircase mentioned above one morning last semester. I went around to all the houses in the neighborhood to see if anyone knew whose phone it was, because I figured someone had lost it after leaving one of the parties the night before. A woman answered the door and she said she didn't know who the phone belonged to. So I went to the next house. That is the only time I've interacted with anyone living at 1122 King Road. And it was different people that lived there at the time. Bro, I get the need wanting to explain yourself, of course, and defend yourself and like whatever, all that stuff, right? But like the more and more information that's being divulged here, as I'm reading this, I'm thinking, damn, they're going to be like, but this and that, it's never going to be good enough. And he's frustrated. And it's kind of ironic mentioning the interview room, because I remember he was a part of that whole witch hunt of some random guy on Twitter that had nothing to do with anything. I'm trying to remember what case. I think it was Gary Petito when he swore.
I'm sorry, guys, but I got to say this Jeremy guy's on one of my possible suspect lists. I don't know. What do you think? Not enough. He's on one of my possible suspects, allegedly. I will put that out there. Allegedly. He's just, I don't know. I get weird vibes. From him now. Like I said, he is on my suspect list. Now, like I said, allegedly. Everything you hear on this channel is allegedly. I do think it's weird with all the interviews that he popped out with, etc. I think it's very weird. And he knows a lot of information, like Marie was just saying. He knows a lot.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, it's okay. It probably just cut off. Sometimes it does that. It's weird.
Okay.
How Ellie missed, how law enforcement missed it is beyond me. Maybe I don't know. That's weird. That is weird. Freckles. That's weird. Heard it was a dark black glove, different wrist color. I thought it was something about it's a black leather glove. Okay. Natasha says same T-REV. Marie says, oh, and he's in law, so Wait, he's reading this info off a Reddit post. Yes, he is reading this info off a Reddit post. You got to take that into mind too. Why is he going into so much detail? Allegedly, this is for entertainment purposes. Yep, smash. Thank you, Steffi. I appreciate that. Maggie says Natasha mentioned close proximity to girl's work, living close to girl, and have a name. That Jeremy supposedly posted to Reddit, or this is supposedly Jeremy's statement on Reddit.
Wow.
So let's see what the hell he's got to finish up saying.
Up and down that it was some guy on the internet on Twitter that was Brian Laundrie, and it was a crazy ass witch hunt. Number 5, I did not know any of the people, even though they also had a dog. I also don't know the names of anyone else in this area who has a dog either. I could identify most or all of the people in this area that have dogs if you were to place them in a lineup. What? I could identify most or all of the people in this area that have dogs if you were to place them in a lineup, but I couldn't tell you any of their names. Before the incident, none of them could tell you my name either. None of you personally know me, but if you were to ask literally any person at the dog park I go to, other than the person I go to school with, if they know my name or if I know theirs, every single person would say no. I take my dog there. I put my headphones on. I walk around as my dog runs and plays with other dogs. I don't talk with people I don't know because I don't like small talk and I don't care about their personal life. Maybe that's something like Asperger's or autism. Maybe I'm just antisocial and awkward unless I go get tested. Dude, is this a real post from this person? The world may never know. 5.1. You can ask just about every person I go to school with. If I'm a social butterfly, they'll all likely say no because I don't talk with most people. I have my small friend group that I talk to, and that's about it. I'll have a conversation with someone if they start talking to me, but I rarely start the conversation because that's just not my personality. So when you all come for me saying I'm acting awkward in the interview or I'm smiling, which a lot of people have been criticizing this guy for the smiling thing, that's what makes you think it really is this person when I shouldn't be. That's partly me being nervous to talk to someone on camera, or partly my natural awkward personality or lack of social awareness. If you all notice, I barely have social media, and what little I do have doesn't involve pictures. That's because I don't like.
Why is he? I don't get why he's going so far to explain himself. Like, he's put himself all over the news, and now he's just explaining the shit out of himself.
The other thing too, if I can, he's talking about, I'm really familiar with all the dogs. Remember,
right?
I'm losing my brain now. In the session, he was talking about the dog, right? And we were talking, why didn't the dog bark? Why didn't the dog attack? If you're familiar with all the dogs in the neighborhood,
exactly,
doesn't say much for you.
You're right on that one. That's a oh man, he's and the fact that he's explaining, like, he's got an explanation for everything, and he's looking everywhere just to see what everybody's saying about him.
Right.
That just sends off a red flag to me alone.
Yeah. But the really got me. And the other thing too is, also in the session, there was talking about behind the couch. And Lex and I were kind of like, what's behind the couch, Ethan? You know, but could the knife have been found behind the couch?
I'm not sure. It's a good thought. I mean, what do you mean, like, could the knife been found behind the couch, as far as like the killer found that knife behind the couch and used it? Or
no, in the session, in the spirit box session, it said many times, Livy probably can validate that it said behind the couch. And
right.
Luther and I were in the chat being like, but you were so zoned into the session, and we were screaming like, what's behind the couch? Ask about behind the couch. You know, what was someone behind the couch, or was the knife behind the couch?
Oh, I'm gonna most definitely be asking about behind the couch now. Next one, most definitely, and I got to go back on it. Was it the last session? Or the one before that when I was in the room and then I ended up and I came into the studio? Was it that session?
I think so. It was just recent. It was the day before, not last night, but the time before.
Yeah, it's okay. I know exactly which one you're talking about, and I'm gonna go comb through that one and pull everything out that I hear. Yep, there's a lot of interesting things in there. And I said, which one of the Idaho victims are here with me today? They said the first name to fly out was Kaylee.
Yeah, and Ethan came through like Ethan. Ooh, I just got chilled.
Yeah.
Ethan, he got. Yeah.
When we were talking about Ethan's mom and just now and all that, my monitor literally shut off, so I couldn't read no more comments for a minute. It was very it gave me chills immediately. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Cameras. I'm not scared of being filmed or having my picture taken, but I'm not a fan of cameras in general. Number 6. For all of you that believe psychic/mediums, first of all, why? Yes, I used to be a hunter. My mom did in fact post on Facebook that I had shot a deer back in 2012. I haven't been hunting since 2013. So to say that I'm a hunter is a bit of a stretch. That's like saying I'm a painter because I painted a picture back in 7th grade art class. And I have heard something about that too. People looking at his like family stuff and they found like one picture of his mom. And a lot of people out there have hunted at some point, or some people do hunting out there. I believe seems like the culture out there. I could be wrong. 6.1, the psychic. One of the two, but I don't know either of their names, stated that the spirits, gave her spirit energy that the killer lived to the right of the house. When you're looking at the house, the left. Checkmate, you stupid ghost. No, but seriously, why would you trust someone who is listening to the voices in their head? I've seen a lot of these people too, like they download an app or they have this machine that makes the static sound and goes and just like, oh yeah, that's where the person is. No, but seriously, why would you trust someone who is listening to voices in their head? If she were on a park bench rather than on her computer with a microphone, do you really think you trust what she said? No, you think she'd needed to take some schizophrenia medicine and to check herself into a mental hospital for a bit. What's she gonna do next? Use a Ouija board and have spirits spell the killer's name? Probably. Number 7. Yes, I used to carry a gun on me before I moved to Moscow. I carried it on me for the entire first semester I was up here too. Then I realized Moscow was much less sketchy than where I used to live, so I stopped carrying it on me. After the murders happened, I started carrying it again for protection of myself and others if needed. Me saying that I started carrying a weapon again wasn't an excuse to carry around a big knife that everyone has been claiming was the murder weapon. I don't carry knives because guns are infinitely better for self-defense and are 100% legal to carry in Idaho. Canceled. Number 8. All of you comparing me to, this has got to be the guy. All of you comparing me to Stephen McDaniel simply because I'm a law student or saying I'm a law student so I know how to get away with crimes are ignorant a-holes. First of all, I'm not a murderer, so I don't appreciate being compared to one. Second, law school isn't like it's shown in How to Get Away with Murder. They teach us the rules of evidence, Patty. Not how to hide evidence. They teach about property law, not how to steal property, adverse possession aside. They teach us the law surrounding assault and battery and murder, not how to successfully commit those crimes. If your knowledge of law school and the legal system comes from a television screen, I hate to tell you, but you don't actually know much of what actually happens. TV glamorizes the 5% of law that's actually exciting and leaves 95% off screen because it's boring and incredibly slow. With all that said, feel free to go outside, stretch your legs, breathe some fresh air, touch some grass, and stop trying to pin this on me simply because I did interviews and didn't fit the exact mold of what you think I should have looked like or sounded like. If you think you found the missing link connecting me to the murders, think again, because there is no link, because I did not kill Ethan, Xana, Madison, or Kaylee. So there's just a few more posts, shorter posts that I have to read. But the Stephen McDaniel thing, when we were watching one of the interviews of Jeremy and somebody had mentioned it in the chat, I thought it was hilarious because we've seen the action. We've seen where he was there in the news, right, like the whole awkward situation. But it was just funny, kind of in a joking way, satire.
No idea where she's at.
No.
You have no idea where she's at?
No.
Okay.
Yo, look how he's kicking back. He threw his legs up.
Thank you for everybody who's
Where's this
subscribing. I
detective at
appreciate it.
now?
Yes.
He's taking a call too.
That's crazy.
What is this?
You can't help me out a little bit?
Yeah, bro.
Help me out?
I don't know.
You don't know anybody at all.
Like I said again, I didn't think this guy was involved or anything like that, or seriously thinking or investigating or looking into this guy like he's involved. So somebody commented under his post and said, "Why did you make comments on Facebook posts about stabbing? Why were those comments insensitive?" Jeremy responds, "I only commented on a post about stabbings in my state. Not that I wanted to stab people." And I did see somewhere that somebody had taken a screenshot of his comment and said that he must have did it because of his comment on it. I don't remember what it said. He said, "I was also being sarcastic because a bunch of people at the time were calling for gun control based on shootings that had happened recently, and others were saying stupid things like guns don't kill people, people kill people. I made a sarcastic remark about needing knife control because it was a poor attempt at humor. I have a very dark sense of humor, but it doesn't mean I support violence. That's what I meant by the comment." And that's a common thing that I've heard where people talk about knife and knife control and gun stuff. And if you're going to control guns, like sarcasm kind of stuff. I've heard that, those type of things before. And to the poisonous lube article, I've seen people talking about when I said A+ execution. I don't even know what that's about. It was in regards to the husband successfully putting poison ivy into the lube, not him killing his wife. The wife was fine, but had an itchy crotch for a while. Execution doesn't always mean death. When a gymnast does a routine successfully, the announcers say that was a great execution by so on and so. I got that video already. Like I said, I didn't look into this guy. I didn't even see the reason to, especially dig into all his history and years of posts or whatever, or where he eats his lunch and stuff. And so 7 hours ago, other than posting a picture of myself, not going to, what would I have to do to prove I am who I claim to be? Would I have to say I'll be on CNN tonight on Aaron Burnett's show around 7:45 p.m. Eastern? I'm going to check that out. How about that I'll be interviewed tomorrow by 2 women with Original Media Group? Would that suffice? Edit. The CNN interview was canceled due to other news needing the airwaves. So he put the screenshot and it says here, "Oh, got it. Thank you. Have you spoken with police again since we last connected? Have you seen any more police activity in your neighborhood?" Says, "No, I haven't spoken to them again yet. One of my professors is a prosecutor for the Lauderdale County, so I'm going to talk with her today about what I need to do to get my name cleared so people stop speculating online and dragging my name and reputation through the mud. Apparently people on Reddit and Twitter, this stuff, it's going to die out and it's going to go away. But stuff like this is going to reignite probably people's looks and suspicions. I wouldn't keep like going and going and going and going. Depending, I don't know what's happening to you personally. I don't know who people are actually coming for you. People are showing up to your place or what exactly is going on. And it says, "Jeremy, thanks for your patience. After our afternoon meeting, I just got word some changes to our rundown due to the China story that is taking up a lot of our airtime today. And it sounds like we'll have to stand down on this. I apologize for the change in plans. Thanks for being available," which is totally plausible. I've had that happen to me before with like reporters where we were supposed to do something and it cancels. Things change all the time, last minute. And somebody replied to this post and said, "I hope people aren't actually harassing you. I'm sorry this sub has speculated. I think law enforcement keeping things so tight-lipped has caused people to suspect a lot of folks. It's like when someone says we need to talk later and you spend the next few hours trying to figure out what it could be about. If you really want people to leave you alone, I think keeping quiet and letting LE figure out is your best bet," which I agree with too. Like I said, again, I understand feeling the need to like address, but then when you're providing a whole bunch of additional information, it's going to get these people more riled up into looking into other things. And, even me covering it is going to give it attention. But, I think it's also kind of giving his perspective inside. Again, for the normal, rational, sane people, they're not going to do this crazy shit that the few people maybe are doing. Jeremy replies, it's not too bad yet. I've had a couple people try to harass me on other social media websites. They're trying to reach out to my friends as well, which is why I wanted to stop. I don't mind dealing with internet trolls myself because I have thick skin and don't let the words bother me, but I don't want my friends having to deal with these people for no reason, which I completely understand. You guys comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this whole situation. Should he stop? What are your thoughts on the interviews? And I guess he's going to do more interviews, which is, it's his choice.
So for this, let's see, where's it at here? What was the next one we had? I got that video that you guys are talking about over here. Where's it at? Right here. No, where the hell is it? I put it in here. I know I did. Was it Crime Circus? No, it wasn't Crime Circus. That one that you guys were talking about. Brian, let me go back up here. What was the name of that video again? I swear I had it. Minimum. Where's it at? Brian must watch. Crime Circus. I have it right here. Crime Circus. This is the newest one. I believe so. She said, bye. I'm dead. I'm not exactly sure. I don't want to say the wrong, but I know I was watching a video where they said it. Jeremy's name through a box a lot of the time yesterday. Just saying. Yes, it did come through when me and Mama D did that. His name did come through and his last name. So that was very interesting also. I do remember that very well. When we started talking about Jeremy, shit got active. Do you remember that? Not enough. If yesterday when we started talking about Jeremy, shit went crazy. I mean, I started getting response after response after response after response. I mean, so many voices started coming through when Jeremy was mentioned. Now, I'm not saying, and this is all allegedly, I'm not saying, hey, anything, but I just think it was interesting that when Jeremy Reagan was mentioned, the box started going ape shit. It really did.
Hard is like I'll hear something and then I'll look and I'll hear you say something and it's like, wow, there's so much stuff going through that box that when I look in the chat, I see so many people picking up so many different things. And when I listen back to the show, like I'll find spots and go like, oh, now I hear it. But when it's happening, either I tap into a different frequency.
Right.
I really don't know, but like I hear stuff and then sometimes other people hear what I hear and I hear what you hear when it's prominent,
Right. Yeah. Like when it's like when it's so in your face that it's like, damn, I heard that clear as day. And that they call that class A spirit box response. Like, especially when you can hear it and for a fact that is what was said.
Right.
Excuse me. But yeah, you could tell, like literally it said Reagan, Jeremy, Reagan, and it was crazy. It's crazy. I'm making a video on it because I went and I already clipped stuff on here that I have over here to the side. These 4 I've recorded. This said Moscow in the spirit box right here. Oh, let me play it. I play it right here. It says Moscow. Listen to this. It says Moscow. It literally says Moscow. I'll be making a video on that. I don't want to scare everybody out of here, but yeah, some people don't have the stomach for it. Some people don't have the stomach for that. But go knack the harsh reality new video. I got it on this list. The harsh reality video. Idaho college students murders. Psychic reading is the next video I have, and then Crime Circus is after that. So let's see. I haven't seen this one.
Hello. Aphrodite here, your pop culture psychic, back to you again with another true crime reading. This time, it is the highly requested. Y'all have spammed me on every platform for the past week and a half. It is the Idaho college murders. So the reason why I haven't done this yet is because there was so much misinformation. I was so confused. I have heard so many conflicting stories. People are making things up left and right. It is really hard to discern what is accurate and what isn't. It seems like there's really very limited, if not any information. But supposedly there were 4 people who were murdered, 3 girls and 1 guy, in a house.
The
and
next
2 other
video is
people
Crime
were
Circus,
asleep,
guys.
allegedly, I think, in the basement while it happened. And nobody knows who did it or why. And they are college kids, and they still haven't found the person who did it. So that's basically the only information that I know that is like what people know. Everything else is just speculation, and the police haven't said anything. So I don't know how helpful that I'm going to be able to be. I don't know if I'm going to even get anything. I am very confused. I mean, the amount of misinformation about this case is actually kind of weird. And I've never seen a case have so much misinformation. And granted, it's like when a case is popular, it's going to happen. But some part of me is almost like, is there some sort of strategy involved with the spreading of the misinformation? I don't know.
So in tune.
Is it on purpose? I don't know. But I'm going to try my best, and I'm going to do this respectfully, trying to get answers. Everyone is asking me to do this, and you're right. I need to try and help if I can. So remember, these readings are all alleged, for chambers only, and let's get started. Okay, so, oh no, I don't like a first pull Wheel of Fortune at all. Okay, Wheel of Fortune. Oh no, I don't like that. I don't like what I just felt. Do any of them come from privileged family or privileged upbringings, or are any of them wealthy, or is there any sort of prestige, or is there any sort of discrepancy between them and your average person? I don't know if that's like popularity or what, but right off the bat, the Wheel of Fortune is like golden opportunity for me, right? And the Wheel of Fortune is like good luck. And the 9 of Cups is about manifestation, which to me is about getting what you want. And then we see the 2 of Wands, which is a friction between 2 people, and the 10 of Cups, which is a happily ever after reversed, or the 10 of Cups reversed is also about someone else not getting their happily ever after. It could also be family. So there definitely seems to be someone that I'm picking up on. Now, this might not be the murderer, alleged murderer. This might just be someone around that maybe is connected or has information, or maybe it's just a random thing I'm picking up on. Okay, so don't come for me. But what I am seeing is someone feeling a discrepancy between them and this person, almost feeling like this person is like the antithesis of, you know, like it's like you're privileged almost. I'm not going to lie to you. The 2 of Wands could sometimes be sex. It could also just be friction between 2 people. It's very difficult for me to be able to tell specifically. Usually if I'm doing a reading on a client, they'll be able to help clarify that card for me, because it's either friction between 2 people or, you know, some sort of sexual tension. Granted, in the grand scheme of things, because there was a murder, right, and 3 of them were girls, it is possible that someone, you know, felt like they didn't have a chance or were rejected. It's not impossible to read the 2 of Wands that way. The problem is that even if that's the case, if this is the person I'm picking up on, the energy there with the 2 of Wands reversed is someone that feels like almost inadequate compared to them. It's, you know what I'm seeing in my mind's eye? You guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but remember the movie Parasite?
If you don't believe me, I already have that video that you guys are talking about right here. This is the video you guys are speaking on.
So Chris McDonough has solved the case. He said it was a midget who used a little brick to climb in through the window, and we're looking for a serial killer. Do you think he's right? Or shall we listen to what Nancy Grace said? Yes.
How is everyone? I hope you're all well. So, look, I see this as a little bit of a public service, because, look, you can either go and listen to, you know, I don't know, channels that want to give information but insist on doing it spread over the course of an epic film like E.T. or Titanic, maybe. Or you can come here and I can just crack on and get on with it. And you can go back to whatever it is you're doing. Who you're doing, maybe. So we crack on. So Nancy Grace, she's come out and maybe she done a little bit of a slip up. But we'll have a little bit of a listen. So here we go. I'll share this with you. So this is, I'm not even going to make you
I've
watch
already
all
had
of it.
this in
This
the
is how
playlist,
kind I am.
guys.
Like, I'm really kind. So I'll actually bring it down so you can actually see it. Like, let's go. Come on.
Not a convicted felon because he's not popping up on APHIS or CODIS. That's telling me a lot about who this is.
And so, Nancy, you say
there you go.
Because they would not.
There you go. So what she has basically just said is that,
like, I've been had this in the playlist.
The perpetrator is not coming up on a DNA database or a fingerprint database. Now, there have been rumors flying about. I'm not going to bring people's names up specifically who are saying it, because unless they came to me and said, look, I found this and I want my name spread all over social media, I won't do it. But there has been whispers in the wind that there was a DNA match found across all the victims. So that's what they're testing, the DNA match. And they've obviously put that into the database and they've not found anything on there. Now, don't get me wrong, that could just mean that they're not, or they haven't been arrested and charged or whatever for a violent crime. It doesn't mean that they're not, you know, there's not other things in the history, but there is also other things that are creeping through the woodwork. And that is some friends who have connections to a specific person, a specific, one of the victims, let's just say that. One of the victims has a friend who there's a lot of whispers and fingers being pointed. And at this stage, I'm not going to put his name on here because at the end of the day, you know what it's like, guys. And you can put a name on and before you know it, these people are being crucified. And I don't, at this stage, see any reason to do that. But there is one specific person. And when you go through their social media, it's really not looking great. I mean, they are on things like Pinterest, etc. And they've got pictures of guns, they've got pictures of knives, specific links.
The uproar in the chat. I'm like, I already got that video.
It looks like a business or something that specializes in these weapons, specifically the weapon style that was used, as far as we know, in this crime. So there are things bubbling about in the background. I wouldn't be surprised if law enforcement do, in fact, know more than what they're letting on. So all I'm going to say is strap yourselves in, because I think and I hope, fingers crossed, that things may be moving in the background quicker than what we initially thought. And maybe some of the things that are happening with regards to law enforcement and some of the things that we felt were being done for one reason was actually being done for another. So, yeah, that's it. That's all the information. What do we got? Like I say, DNA, not on the DNA database, not on the fingerprint database. It seems to corroborate what I've heard through the whispers, that there was a match in DNA across all 4 of the victims. Again, I'm just saying that's what I've heard. And then
now this just tells us, I said this when I first came on, that there was a DNA match and that Nancy Grace announced that. I announced that at the beginning of the live if you run it back. I seen that before Harsh dropped his video, then Harsh dropped the video, so I added it into the queue. So basically they got a DNA match, but there's no DNA match because the person's identified. So, but they have DNA. So it was worded wrong, titled wrong, however you want to put it. But this person that committed these crimes are not in the database. So that shows that either 1, it's a student, or 2, it's somebody who has never been in trouble with the law and acted out on their fantasy that they thought about. So either it's a crime of passion with somebody who's been fantasizing this shit for years, or it is a student, in my opinion. I can't hear you. You're for some reason it's not coming through right. What'd you say? For some reason, your mic's like, you sound muffled. I don't know why. I don't know if your mic's covered up by something. It's weird.
Am I better now?
Yes. A1. That's perfect.
It was covered.
It's okay.
I said, could it also be a rage killing
That too.
by the number of stab wounds and stuff? Or no?
Absolutely. I'm thinking that too. Like, it definitely rage killing by somebody that just snapped, you know, and they're not, and they never been in trouble with the law, but they just snapped.
Or could be drugs, you know, that they're on some kind of drugs and they thought, you know, they were saving the world. Who knows?
That's very true. That's very true. Like you said, it could be drugs. It could be anything. And I don't know, with the DNA match coming out, nobody being in the system, it just points at somebody who's never really been in trouble with the law.
Right.
So until they get the perp's DNA, they're not going to be in trouble until their DNA goes to the system.
Right.
Now, I heard they released the affidavit on the sealed documents or whatever with the Richard Allen case.
No.
In the Delphi, I seen that all over the place. So I don't know. But somebody had said in chat earlier that it was a bullet that tied back to him.
Right. But that's another that was another session when he said Richard.
Oh, you remember that? You remember that? Oh my goodness. I said, who murdered Libby and Abby? And it goes, Richard. Clear as day.
Yeah.
Clear as day. Ever since then, Abby and Libby been coming through like crazy. It's crazy. Let's see. I'm getting off YouTube. I'll be right back. Let's see what you guys are saying. I wonder who the glove will fit.
Right.
I wonder who will the glove fit? But it still won't even help because if they don't got the perp's DNA, then they just got an unidentified profile. You know what I mean?
True.
They got an unidentified profile. So now, I mean, what can you do? Everybody at the Idaho University take their DNA. How do you work that one out?
Though, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have a suspect in mind and literally, you know, go from there off of suspects and get their DNA somehow.
Right.
Get a warrant, take it to a judge, and have probable cause to get their DNA. And they'll get their DNA however they have to. They will. Whether it's watching you at a place throw some ice cream in the trash can. You know, I've seen this my whole life. I've seen them do that. Wait until somebody makes or flicks a cigarette. Whatever their hands touch, I've seen them do crazy shit. I've seen them pull cans of Coke out the freaking trash can and swab that.
Yeah. Touch DNA is, you know, awesome now. I mean, all you have to do is touch it and you leave your cells, bits of your cells.
It's definitely, yeah, it's behind everything. You leave a print on everything you touch. So, I mean, that's now it's starting to click in my head what one of the parents have said, which is they have no doubt that the killer will be caught because they left so much evidence behind. Now I understand that statement a lot more, that it's coming out from, you know, sources that are trusted, in my opinion. When Nancy Grace says something, I trust what she says.
And on all four victims too.
Exactly. So on all four victims, DNA, yeah, this person, I don't know, this person is not experienced. So that leaves me to think this is a student now.
Yeah.
Or somebody younger in that area. In general, it leads me to think that, you know, it could be an adult. It could be an older adult in their 30s or late 20s. But I think this was somebody that was connected with them now. Now I'm changing my theory from what I said yesterday on my video. And I think it's somebody that was, like you said, they snapped.
Known to them.
Rage.
Or it had to be somebody known to them. The dog thing, I have 3 pit bulls. I know my dogs. If somebody's threatening me, forget it. You know? So that dog to not attack whoever that was, no. I don't care if they were sleeping or not. That dog's not sleeping.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. No, most definitely. Dogs are alert, very alert. What kind of dog was it again? A Labradoodle?
Yeah. But it was
Still
big
though.
enough. Shit, a Chihuahua will bite your ankle.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what. Yeah. No Chihuahua. Shit. I've got my ankles bit by a few Chihuahuas. My friend, they used to breed Chihuahua, so when I'd go over, I'd be getting my ankles bit all over the place. I was like, oh damn. Te quiero Taco Bell. I used to say that to my friend all the time because I used to breed them little things. And man, them Chihuahuas really will nibble your ankles to pieces.
Yes, they will.
But I mean, a dog. Hold up, those dogs are non-aggressive and kind of dumb. PJ Second Chance says, "What, a Labradoodle? Quietish, more dead weight." Says learning toward leaning towards the dude who had just had a 5-year relationship with one of the girls. It'd be why the dog didn't bark. Hey, Dad, what are you doing here? Right. Which, that's a good point. More dead weight. That is a very good point. I'm glad you brought that up. He had a 5-year relationship. Are you talking about one of the Jacks?
Yeah, that's another thing. Way too many Jack names.
And the Jack, you know what? Another thing for me is why did they call? Okay, so one phone called Jack 6 times and the other phone called Jack 2 times. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but that's what I've read. So I think it wasn't it Kaylee's phone that called 6 times? I can't pinpoint directly, but I know one was called from one phone 6 times and the other 2, were they calling for help? That's what I want to know. Were they calling for help, or what did the killer call Jack to create an alibi or to throw them off? You get what I'm saying? So somebody, I don't know. And then another thing that gets to me and makes me think targeted is the fact that now there's 2 scenarios here that I'm looking at when it comes to those victims, or to the 2 students that were left alive downstairs, is that he could have easily, she or he or whatever, they could have easily got down there and killed them too. I don't give a shit if a door was locked or not. You could break that. You could get into the however you got to get in. You already got in. So I think that you could get down there. I don't care if the door was locked or not. If you wanted to get down there and kill them.
Also, how do you not hear a commotion upstairs?
Right. Especially late. And you figure because, okay, so the girls arrived home and they corrected this at 1:56 a.m. So you figure, yeah, you would hear something. I mean, in case you're completely fucking trashed out your mind, you know, you got to be completely trashed out your mind, passed out on some type of drug that just has you, or you've been up for days and you crashed to be able to sleep through that. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit's got to be loud. That commotion, fighting back.
Do you remember when you were, young, and you would try to sneak in the house? You thought you were so quiet, and there was your mom or dad. Like, you're banging into the wall and stuff. You know, drunk. When you're drunk, you have really no idea of how loud you are.
Right.
And they're probably, baby, they're girls. You know what I mean?
No, you're absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I don't know. This case is gonna keep fucking with us until they get somebody. And there's so many names.
Also, what it says in the chat, Jack 2. I suspect Jack 2.
Jack number 2.
Pick one.
Yeah, pick one. Hold on, let me pull up because I have a the Jack profiles in here. Let me see. Where's it at? The Jacks. There's Jack. Here, 3 Jacks from Grizzly's channel that she had. Here we go, right here. So I have this, which is, hold up. Have we watched Kaylee's sister? If not, the mom says something before the interview starts. Super odd to me. I'll have to check that one out. It's a bottom floor was always living space in one's basement. Oh, I got you. So here's our Jacks. Which Jack to you would be most likely the suspect? You know, which one looks more likely? The guy, Jack number 3 is hoodie guy. Right. Lives on Queen Road, neighbor of the girls. Right. Recently kicked out of the fraternity, anger issues. allegedly kicked out of the Corner Club that night for creeping people out. Knife, hunting skills, allegedly has a Kabar knife. Police says that, police say that have identified him and spoken to him. So they said that they identified him and spoken to him. Jack Showalter, which is his name.
You could be under suspicion and not know it too. You know, like they talk to him, they release him. Doesn't mean that they still don't suspect him.
Oh yeah, they could clear you and literally play with your mind that way and have him thinking he's free and
watch how he is. Yeah.
And that shit works too, especially with these younger people who do not understand crime. You know what I mean? They don't understand. They just think, oh, I can probably get away with this, or they haven't paid attention to crime or true crime in general.
Right. Agreed.
They make these mistakes. These are the type of mistakes these people make right here. Leaving DNA behind, that shows me that you are an absolute retard. Excuse me, trigger warning to everybody out there, but that shows me you're an absolute idiot that you're not thinking about what you're about to do. Which points towards the rage killing, like you said.
Do you think they may have gotten DNA from all the people they've talked to? I know they would ask you voluntarily, maybe.
Exactly. I think they would ask. I think especially now, or if they had the DNA beforehand, yeah, definitely. I think do you care if we get a swab of DNA from you? They're gonna ask you that if they bring you to that interview room. I'm 85% leaning towards, yeah, they're asking you for your DNA right now.
And if they don't, if you leave that cup, they got it anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So PJ says Jack number 1. What's up, Eric Rams? Thank you for coming by. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. Jack number 1, you say? Let's see. Jack number 1, PJ says. So Jack number 1, Kaylee's childhood friend, dated for several years, recently decided on a amicable split, share the Labradoodle, which would mean he knows the dog.
Right.
Kaylee's family stand behind Jack 100% and know he absolutely had nothing to do with this at all, which is a very broad statement. Kaylee called Jack 6 times between 2:26 a.m. and 2:52 a.m., which that makes me lean towards reaching out for help, or alibi. You get it, or throwing suspicion that way, like, hey, you know. So that's what that leans me towards. Maddie called Jack. Okay, so they called a total of 9 times.
I thought it was 7, but that sounds right.
They called 9 times. Maddie called Jack 3 times, and Kaylee called Jack 6 times. It was all between the time of 2:26 to 2:52, and then from Maddie's phone, it was 2:44 to 2:52.
Maybe it was someone Jack knew. Maybe it was Jack's friend.
And he
if
framed
they're calling Jack, maybe they're calling Jack to get, you know.
Right. And that crosses my mind too. Kaylee's sister said that the number of calls was not unusual. She would frequently call people late at night and often until they picked up, even to ask a mundane question like what she would have for a meal.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not getting that one. But Jack number 2, Ethan paid Jack K for something on Saturday, November 12th, which I think they're going towards the Venmo. I think that's what Jack number 2 would be. He was the first to donate to Ethan's memorial on the GoFundMe. I seen that one with my own eyes. And then it is rumored that he started the GoFundMe, and then likely from the same fraternity. So out of all these Jacks, chat, who would you pick? I don't know. Out of all these Jacks, I picked Jeremy. I'm sorry. I don't know. That's allegedly. Jeremy, it is what it is. Make a Reddit post about me. I don't give a fuck. You're my number 1 suspect right now. For some reason, that dude is. I don't know why, but there's just something off about his interviews and then how broad he's just being on Reddit. If that's really him posting and not a troll, that is he's just being super weird.
Do you remember that story about 3 friends and the girl ended up like killing her, and she went and lived with the family, and she was part of the people, her and another friend.
Which case was that?
I can't remember the name of it. I'm not really good like that, but it was like 3 friends. They took her out and, you know, they pretended to be her friend. Oh, we're your friend. We're your friend. Until
And they killed her.
Yes.
Teen girls, right?
Huh?
Were they teen girls?
Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes. I know which one you're talking about. And yes, I know exactly what story you're talking about.
in because she was the best friend, right? And protected her when she was one of the murderers. That's where number 1 kind of sits with me.
Mm-hmm.
But the knife on number 3 and the violent nature of number 3, I'm not suspecting 2. Sorry. 1 and 3.
She's talking about that. All right, so Keister brought up My Own Brother, which is this one right here. I said, who killed you? And this is what I got. I said, who killed you guys? My own brother. That kind of sounds like a girl to me. My own brother.
What I hear right now is we will see. We will see. We will see. That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
Like I did it at like slow rates too.
Right.
And when you slow it down, it
Yes.
says my own brother.
Like I noticed that when you play back and you slow it down, it's so much more clear.
Oh yeah, it actually gives me the creeps when I hear it because it's like my own brother.
It should be validation that you're right the first time.
That's what I picked up when I heard it with my own ears, my own brother, and then I got that Moscow. The Moscow, and then at the Moscow, after Moscow, it says it goes he's dead. So it goes Moscow, he's dead.
Hi, Keister Bunny.
Which is kind of weird that Moscow comes out.
Yeah.
When I'm talking about it, like I didn't even ask anything about Moscow. It just said Moscow. I said zilch about anything in Moscow. It says Moscow, and then he's dead. And I think actually, when I went back and looked at it, I was talking about Ethan right before that came up. So it said had Moscow, and then he's dead.
Yeah, Ethan's name came up a lot.
Yeah, it has came up a lot. Which this one right here, Jacob has came up also. Kaylee, who did this to you? Jacob. I got Jacob right here.
What do we know about Jacob?
That's what I want to know.
Kaylee Gonkovs, who did this to you, sweetheart? Can you tell your sister who did this to you? She really wants to know.
Right there, Jacob. Now, when I slowed it down and broke it down, it said Jacob. And I was able to lift the volume on it. And I got Jacob. Clear as day. Jacob.
Look at Keister Bunny's comment.
What she said? The
family knows where to go.
Let me see. Jack number 1. There's no way Kaylee's family's confident in that interview. We got to watch that.
She says Xana's family knows more, but we're told not to reveal it publicly.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That too. I seen something about that when I was reading. You think Miss G, you seen him in spirit? Neighbors in Lowell, I believe I've heard. He needs to stop talking. Bree M says maybe they couldn't find the dog because the killer let it outside and they were calling him to know if he picked up the dog.
That Wade said Jacob is another use of Jack. I didn't know that.
Yes, that has came out also. People were bringing that to my attention. because I was like, who's Jacob? Who's Jacob?
Yeah.
And they're like, that's another use for Jack. So I'm guessing that's like, what is it? What do they call him? Tony is another name for Ricky or something, or Richard, or I forget the comparison, but it's like another breakdown to that. So we gotta. Steffi says, so we gotta go and look because mom's not gonna see it. She is so overwhelmed. 2 all day or Jeremy just to be safe. Y'all ladies stay away from these guys. And J name period. Jack, Jeremy, J. Yeah, there is a lot of J's. I was just thinking about that.
No kidding.
Maybe we can watch it here. What vid are you talking about? Are you talking about this vid right here that I'm about to pull up? Hold up. You must be talking about this one. Or is it
Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Crime Circus. My name is Drip Drop, and we're taking a trip to Idaho tonight, where 4 college students were stabbed in their sleep and passed away forever. 2 of their roommates weren't attacked, and they survived. I'm going to give you the proper factual floor layout of this complicated, confusing house. Others have tried, and they've come close, but it hasn't been exactly 100% correct. I'm going to give you the 100% correct floor plan. First, let's start with an overview of this 3-story house. You can see floor 1 down below. Above that is floor number 2, and then this is the 3rd level. This is a side profile of the same exact 3-story house. And right here, I have the floor plans for all 3 floors, 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to guide you through in this video, starting with floor number 1. Here's floor number 1 right here. I've got an arrow pointed towards the front door. Here's a view of that same front door from the outside of the house looking from the street. There it is again. And once you enter, this is a view from the 2nd floor looking down at the front door. Looking back at the diagram, we're going to start with Dylan's room. That's where Dylan lived. She's one of the surviving roommates. A view from the outside of the house, you can see that's on the left front. And here's a few pictures of the inside of her bedroom. You can see there's a staircase just above in the corner. Now we're going to take a trip to the front right side of the house. That was Bethany's room. Bethany is also another survivor who was living on the 1st floor. Here's a view of Bethany's room from the outside of the house. And here's a couple pictures of the inside of Bethany's room. Now, let's walk up that staircase leading up into the 2nd story. And this is a view of that staircase from the 2nd story. Here's the blueprints to the 2nd floor. We're going to start with the living room. And this is a view of the living room once you've entered the living room from that staircase that you just walked up from level 1. That's the front window to the driveway. And those are the stairs that you just walked up. Now, down that hallway is a bedroom, a laundry room, and a bathroom. First, we encounter a laundry room / bathroom. Now let's walk in there and see what it looks like. Here's a photograph of that. And then just past the bathroom is Xana's room, who lived on the 2nd floor. And on this particular evening, her boyfriend Ethan was staying the night with her, so he was in that room as well. Here's a view of the outside of the house pointing to the 2nd floor where she was staying. That was her room, right there. And down below is some concrete. And on that concrete is clearly blood dripping out of the room, so you can tell it was a bloodbath inside of that room that evening. I've never seen blood dripping out the outside of a crime scene outside of a house before, but that's exactly what this is.
Taking new measures to protect themselves.
Now, and this is the inside of Xana's room, and that's an arrow pointing to where the blood was coming from on the wall that we can't see. Now going back to the diagram, as we can see right here, there's a little step that leads to the other side of the house, where there's a bedroom, staircase, and the kitchen. And we're going to start in the bedroom right here. This is a view of where the bedroom would be from looking outside of the house. And inside the house, this is what the bedroom looks like. Apparently, nobody was living in this bedroom. It was vacant. Directly opposite of that is the kitchen. This is where the kitchen would be located if looking from outside of the house, just past the sliding glass door on the 2nd floor. Here's a few images of the kitchen and what it looks like inside.
It's okay, Keister.
Now we're going to travel up the staircase from the 2nd to the 3rd floor. And this is a view from the 3rd floor looking down. That's the staircase right there. And this is a view from the outside of the house on the 3rd floor. Now we're going to look at this floor layout at the 3rd floor. starting with the bathroom, which is just above the staircase. Here's a few images. Just past the bathroom is Maddie's room. Maddie was one of the victims in this case, and that's where she lived. Taking a viewpoint from outside of the house, this is where Maddie's room was, right here. You can even see her pink cowboy boots on display in the window right here, along with the letter M. That's a picture of the inside of Maddie's room, looking out to the balcony. Now, looking back at the floor layout, we're going to take a trip over to Kaylee's room. She had the biggest room in the whole house, and she had sliding glass doors leading out to the balcony. She had only come back into town to stay for a couple nights. She wanted to show off her Range Rover and say goodbye to her friends before she moved to Texas. This is exactly where her room's located if looking from outside the house. You can see she's got sliding glass doors leading directly into her bedroom from the balcony. And here's a view looking outside of her room to the balcony. Here's another shot of
room.
And right there on the floor plans, we can see the walk-around balcony right there. And here's a view from that balcony looking down on the neighborhood. Now we're going to take a trip back down to the second floor of this house to the sliding glass doors and the patio. Here's a couple of images taken from just outside of the sliding glass door of the patio, looking around from the neighborhood to the bushes behind. It's rumored that the girls always left those sliding glass doors unlocked, and it's possible that that's where the perpetrator entered. Here's an image of a police officer standing in the doorway of those sliding glass doors. Now here's an overview on Google Maps, how you can see the house. It's surrounded by a few other houses, a lot of apartments, and it's tucked in nicely with trees and bushes. And here's a few creeper shots from the tree line / bushes. This house is pretty much a dream come true for any peeking Tom. Surrounded by trees, you'd be able to camouflage yourself and watch inside the windows with nobody knowing you're even there. And here's some images showcasing the house from those trees, viewing at night. It doesn't appear they used blinds on any of the windows or sliding glass doors.
Yeah, but maybe they removed them.
And here's some police officers up on the upper level. As you can see, with no blinds, they're lit up like a Christmas tree. And back down on the lower level to the sliding glass door, forensics is looking for evidence. Now heading back out to the tree line, you could see you could be pretty camouflaged there. And even traveling a little further away, you can see the house from way out here.
Wow.
And with binoculars or a camera phone that has a good zoom, you'd be able to see very clearly into Kaylee's room day or night. Here's a side profile of the house once again to show you levels floor 1, 2, and 3. And right here looking at the front third-story window, you can see investigators in the window looking off into a certain direction, which happens to be the same exact direction that investigators down on the street level were looking at as they were investigating this crime. They all seem to be very interested, pointing way off into the distance into a certain direction. When we bring up the map, we can see that there's an apartment building very close. And you can see this is where the famous photo was taken of the roommates, was actually at that apartment complex. However, investigators might not have been pointing at that apartment complex. They might have been pointing a little further across the field to another apartment complex. We're going to take a look at that right here. Now, when you go down to street level on Google Earth over by that address, there's a clear view directly across the way to that very house. As long as you can zoom in with a smartphone, binoculars, or a camera, you'd be able to see directly into that house. Here's a few images describing exactly what I'm talking about. And as you can see, I've got an arrow pointed to that window, and that's where those investigators were looking out, right there, towards that apartment complex. And here's a view of that same window at night. Well, that pretty much sums up the floor plan to this 3-story house. I hope you've learned something by watching this educational true crime video. This is just a little sample of my investigation into this case. The investigation continues, and if you want me to take a deeper dive into this case and analyze some potential people of interest, such as the Grub Truck video, which features this young man right here, or we can talk about Jake, the ex-boyfriend. We can even talk about this young man, Jeremy, who's done 3 interviews with Fox News. And on Dylan's VSC, though, she seems to have been photographed with a very similar-looking dog. Did she know this young man? The investigation is ongoing, and if you want me to continue this series, leave me a comment down below. If you've got any theories about this case, leave me a comment. If you enjoyed this presentation, please smash the thumbs up button. Please consider subscribing. I've got a lot of good interrogations on this channel. Crime Circus is now expanding into crime scene investigations. There's a killer on the loose in Idaho, and hopefully my circus family can help catch this guy. If you've got any clues, tips, or investigative knowledge, please leave a comment down below. Let's try to bring justice for these 4 innocent people that passed away in the most horrible way possible. You think it was some kind of psychopath that was recently inspired by the new Halloween Ends?
Whoa. Before we finish that is interesting. She said, Hi, I'm new. I was just watching yesterday's live. I think it's important to tell you what I heard. You ask, is there anything I can tell police or the YouTube world? Answer is, he's going to kill again. Very interesting. Can you give me a timestamp on that? That would be very helpful if you can give me a timestamp on that. Either way, I'll have to go back and find that if that's at the end. I think that was towards the end that I asked that.
Yeah,
now,
I think it was.
I do remember asking that. I do remember blatantly asked that.
You ask that all the time.
I know. That's why I was like, I need a timestamp because
yeah.
Is there anything that I could say? That's crazy if she heard that and I didn't hear that. I need to go back and really clip that.
And I am doubling down on they heard them come home.
Right.
You know what I mean? Dylan, it was at Dylan's bedroom where the stairs went.
Right. Yeah. Of course. You could hear them. They're drunk coming upstairs. Bloop, 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 bloop.
And the other thing I noticed is it's open. So the sound is going to travel even more. If they had a door at the top of those stairs, maybe not so much. But who's ever on the first floor, how can you not hear what's going on the second floor?
Another thing that we got to take into account here is that the roommates supposedly got home at 1 a.m. So if y'all got home at 1 a.m., they got home 56 minutes after you guys. Did you guys already pass out? You know what I'm saying? That's what plays into my mind. Did you guys pass out within that 56 minutes or were you guys up still? The other two roommates. That's what messes with my mind. She said she's got a timestamp on it. She put 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 38 seconds.
Good job.
2 hours, 38 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna have to go look at that. And I think I put that other one in here. Let me refresh this.
Good evening.
Okay, so I think I put that in here. Yeah, right here is one of the videos they wanted me to watch, which was Parents of Idaho Speak Out. Or this one right here, the father. Okay, so let's check that one that you're talking about. That my live from yesterday. Hold up, I'll grab it right now. 2 hours. She said 2 hours. Okay, here we go. 2 hours.
I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah, me too. I'm like 2 hours, 38. All right. I'm gonna have to look at this here. Oops, that's the wrong one. Let me click on it. Okay, here's the link right here. What did she say? 2 hours and 10 minutes?
You want me to back up and see?
Yes, if you can for me.
Yeah, 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 38 seconds.
2 hours, 10 minutes, and 38 seconds. 2 hours, 10 minutes, 38 seconds. 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 38 seconds. So we'll start from here. Tribune. I tried. Wow, what? Rental car. Who found you guys? Cops. Let's see. This one's a cuss word.
Tell me anything about this killer that I need to know, that I can tell police, or that I can share out to the YouTube world.
What? That says something about T-REV. Did you not hear that? I said, is there anything that I could tell police that says you killed her, T-REV? You heard that? That's what it sounded like to me.
I didn't hear that.
What? Sounds like you killed her, T-REV.
I swear it said you killed her, T-REV.
Oh my god. I don't know though. What do you guys hear on that? What? That says something about T-REV. That shit sounds like you killed her, T-REV. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't know. That is the actual killer, says Miss G. You have a spirit upset with you? Yeah, it could be.
I'm trying to pull up YouTube. I'm trying to pull that up from yesterday. And sorry.
You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're
And
fine.
try to get to that point, because I know in chat I typed something different than what you said you heard, but I don't remember what it was. Remember I told you about the frequency?
Right.
All right, let me check. Just
all right. She said so. Albanian says that she hears he's gonna kill again, and she could be right. I need to break that sound bite down. I need to get that sound bite, and I need to take it and put it into Audacity and clean it up. I want to hear it again. Let's see. Tribune. I tried. Wow, what? Rental car. Who found you guys? Cops. Let's see. This one's a cuss word.
Tell me anything about this killer that I need to know, that I can tell police, or that I can share out to the YouTube world.
What? He killed us in bed. Oh my god. That's what that sounds like. He killed us in bed.
What time was it again?
2 hours. But that's me replaying. I'm pretty sure that's me replaying. That's absolutely me replaying from one of my other lives on there.
I'll check.
But it's on. I did replay that on my yesterday live at 2 hours, 10 minutes. And
No. The one that she said that she hears he's gonna kill again.
That one that I just played from yesterday, I think she said from the
Yeah.
beginning. That's where I went to her timestamp on that, and that's exactly where it's at.
Remember, I told you I wrote something different in the chat that I
Mhm.
heard. That's what I'm looking for. Is what I wrote in the chat.
I'm wondering. The timestamp that she gave me was 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 37 seconds. I think.
2 hours, 10 minutes, 37 seconds.
Yeah, 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 38 seconds. On your yesterday live, which was what I just played.
Right.
I actually do hear he killed us in bed now, after breaking it down over and over and over and over. I hear he killed us in bed now. I'm actually hearing he killed us in bed. And now that I play that, I literally am hearing he killed us in bed.
Okay. Let's see. 2:11. What do I write?
Yep, yesterday's live too. I'd start it if I was you. I'd start it at 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 26 seconds, and let it play. Because I run it back a couple times. Let's see. I'm gonna play it again. Tribune. I tried. Wow, what? Rental car. Who found you guys? Cops. Let's see. This one's a cuss word.
Tell me anything about this killer that I need to know, that I can tell police, or that I can share out to the YouTube world.
Oh, no problem, Robin. What? That says something about T-REV. No. Did you not hear that? I said, is there anything that I could tell police that says you killed her, T-REV? You heard that? It sounds like that, but... What? He killed us in bed.
I wish I had a timestamp for this. Somewhere I heard in the very start, it was a high pitch, and it said, love you, Mom. Love you and Mom. Something, it was real high pitch, but it was in the very beginning. I don't have a timestamp for it. Sorry. But I remember hearing that.
I know when I brought Mama D on, I was like, is there anything you guys want to say to Mama D? And it goes, I love her.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty crazy.
Okay.
I love her.
We love her too.
Yeah, it is pretty
Okay,
insane.
I can't find my comment, but I'll listen. I plan on listening to yesterday's again.
In Discord, I'm gonna have to get everybody together and just go through the shit. Because I'm making a video on it. I'm gonna put a compilation of all of the good ones together and make a video on it on YouTube for everybody who's actually into the spirit box sessions, because it needs I need to pull out all the ones that are super clear.
Yep.
And I'll put what I think I hear, and everybody can put what they think they hear in the comments.
And sometimes you hear people arguing in the background.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that you have background noise, and you pick up stuff from that too.
Yeah, that shit freaks me out.
But I thank you for letting me on your panel. I enjoyed my time here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming up. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes,
I'm gonna go back and chat.
Okay, that's fine.
Right.
Yeah, might do a spirit box session. I don't know.
You gotta warn everybody.
Yeah, I know, right? The shit. Everybody shit. It'll minimize down to like 40 people when I do a spirit box session. People will hate that. It is creepy though to people, but I get it.
Just start a new live and do a spirit box with the warning.
I know.
People can listen to the 3 hours you already put in.
Exactly. Exactly. I kind of want to go over it with everybody. I kind of want to go over the last couple ones that I've done. I feel like going over it with you guys. Maybe we can all go over it, and I can clip the shit live and clip it for myself, the ones that we think we should go in a video. So maybe we can all create the video together. I'll go in there, clip them, and then I'll download all of them, or screen record or download all of them, and we can turn it into a video and put it out there.
Are you talking about doing that like now? You want to take a vote?
I'm thinking about doing it now. Screw a vote. I'm about to just end it and go do that.
Damn it.
Let me know, chat. Are you guys down with that? If I go, I'll pull up my last two lives if you want to get down to it. Or I've done 3 lives that are spirit box sessions. They're all hours and hours long though. That's the thing.
And my heart goes out to you because you put everything into it. And it's just like, oh, I hope he's good. I hope he's good.
That first one fucked my energy up for 3 days. I was off for 3 days long. I mean, it literally, I had all these problems started happening to me too. I had abscess tooth. I had to go to the emergency walk-in. I just had so many problems with my sinuses. Now, I'm not blaming it on that, but I just thought my energy was fucked up.
Yeah.
Like I gave all my energy that day that me and Mama D went on.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I said, use my energy and answer Mama D's questions.
And then you put the crystal on there.
Oh yeah. I set the crystals on there. I set the clear quartz on there. I just literally zoned in. I honestly blacked out for like 30 minutes. When I opened my eyes, I don't even remember what happened.
Here's something I want to say, and I've been screaming it in chat too. I personally would love you to be on a time schedule, like no more than 2 hours. You know what I mean? Because it really takes a toll on you.
It does.
And I just think that if you set personally think this. If you set a timer for the 2 hours, if you're in good at that ding time, you know what I mean? Then push yourself a little more, but not too much more.
I agree with you on that because it does really drain me.
Yes, and the prayers are necessary.
Absolutely, and I agree with you on that. Especially when I do like 3, 4, or the 4-hour ones where I'm going 4 hours. It literally does. When I get off, I'm like super drained, and then after that, I'm having electricity problems. Things are flickering, and it's just it gets crazy.
Well, you know, from ghost hunting, it doesn't take long for anything to attach to you.
Absolutely not. It could take a matter of one spirit coming through that just wants to, you know. Yep. And that's why it's important for prayer, and it's important to talk out loud. Like even when I'm done and I'm off camera, I said nothing. You must leave.
Yeah,
you must leave now, guys. It's I appreciate you. Thank you. Respectfully, you got to go.
And I know you're an empath, as am I. So you feel a lot of that. But when you say, "Oh, my throat," and I always pray, you know, or say in the chat, "You cannot hurt him. You cannot harm him. You cannot," you know, because we're all collectively there.
Right.
You know, I'm probably, but
no,
you know
seriously, it's a
we're
vessel.
all collectively there. So all of our essence is there with you, and we can push them off of you.
Right.
And maybe people don't know that, but I know that.
I know that for a fact because I've done sessions with people that are states away, and they talk to this speaker right here, and I'll be holding the box, and they'll get an intelligent answer to them speaking out of my speaker.
Right.
To what they ask. So that's showing that you can be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And
energy's energy, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And that blows my mind.
Okay. I'm running away. I'm gonna run into
Okay. Oh, you're fine. I was thinking about creating this new live because now I want to go. Now I want to go through everything and make a video. I already got some clips clipped for the video.
Get some feedback from other people. Because like I said, I hear different pitch and frequency sometimes.
Oh my God! Oh no, I didn't catch it. Oh my God, that was the weirdest flicker. That flicker was different than every other flicker that I've gotten. We're talking about the vessel and all this other stuff and the energy, and it just flickered. It's like, please go through that. It's sending me a message.
Because you said you're going to go do another live.
Shit just flickered and did like a rainbow color.
Yay. All right.
That was crazy. Did you not see the picture? Did y'all can see from the live that it turned off? A light source?
I didn't see it.
Anybody in the live, did you see that light source turned off on my face just now? That was my monitor flickering. Play that back. I feel them here with me right now.
All right, I'm going.
Yes, ma'am.
If you go on another live, I'll be there.
Oh yeah, I'm just thinking about doing it right now.
Alrighty.
Rainbow is the covenant of unconditional love. That was confirmation that they are praying. They are paying attention.
Excellent.
Did y'all see the light go off on my face? That was my monitor. Wow. Albanian, I could see it go dark on you for a second, but that was my monitor flicking on me. All right. So I'm going to create another live. Right now, and I'm going to clip. We're going to go through the last couple lives. Maybe we start at a certain point. I do want to go through the last couple lives and see if we can. I'm putting together a video, so it'll be great. Whoever wants to come and listen, who's not scared of the spirit box, whoever will come over and listen, that we go through this together. We can create this video together. I'll get all the clips live. I'll be able to clip them and put them in Discord and then go back and actually download them and then turn it into an actual video. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm trying to share something, but link is too long to post. What's your email? There it is right there. Weird. As soon as I start feeling pain in my mouth, that flickers. I'm talking about energy. The first ever live I did about this case was a straight spirit box right off the rip. There's a spirit box about a guy at the bar. It's a lot of crazy shit. Hold up. I'm going to create that new live right now. I'm going to make this. Hold up. I'm making the thumbnail right now for it. So I'm going to create it and then I'll transfer you guys over to the other live. Hold up. I'm going to make this right now. Let's go back here. Okay. Thumbnail maker. I'm pulling out this right now. Here we go. Let me go to here. All right, I got it right here. No, I don't. Why is my app trying to close down? Creating. Hold up. Creating. All right, here we go. Put this here. Hold up. Why won't that word come up? And hold up. Let me put this. What do you hear? Is what I put right there. Okay, what do you hear? All right, let me add this up here. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm about to transfer that over. Cannot wait for that snow to darn melt. Damn. They were strong kids, tenacious. They were proven in spirit, dude. Keister, you're not lying. Hold up. I'm sending this thumbnail over and I'm creating the live right now. All right. So I'm emailing myself. I just made a fast thumbnail real quick for the spirit box. We're gonna go through it together. Let me send it to my email here. Okay. Attach this. Attach file. Here we go. Bang. Okay, I got it. All right, sent. Let me go to my emails real quick. You gonna pop up or no? That thing flickered on me, man. That was weird. All right, I got it. So there's that. Minimize that. Put this over here. X. I'm creating it right now, guys. StreamYard. Create. Live stream. Right. Best. Grabbing all the best spirit box clips with subscribers and members. Okay. All right, guys, I got it almost made, or I got it made. I just got to grab this real quick. Let me make sure I got that here. Copy. We're going to take it over to here like this. Put that there. All right, so you should be able to see the next live now. Entering studio. All right, I got it up. Now I just need to go to the video. Need to refresh. Put the thumbnail in and we'll be good to go. There's the thumbnail. My true crime journey. I'll put that in that playlist. Also, I need to go to my tags. I should probably end the poll, right? Let me end the poll too real quick. I'm going to end this poll right now. End poll. So see what a lot of you guys thought on this poll. Do you think the police have a suspect? 33% of you think hell yes. 29% of you think not at all. Waiting on DNA, 27% of you. Waiting on DNA match, 27% of you say they've been sloppy. It's going to go cold, 9%. Okay. All right, let me exit that. All right, guys, I got the other stream up right now. I just got to click go live on it. But I'm grabbing the tags for this next video before I end this. I'm going to go to my first spirit box session and use my tags from that. Hold on, which one was that? It was that one. Okay. All right, I got it. All right, see you guys over there in 2 seconds. I'll see you guys over there. There we go. Save. Okay, we're in there. Start live now. Boom. All right. Ending this one right now. We're over there. All right. I'm gonna check that email too. I got you. Meet me at the new live. I got the new live up right now. Oh, let me drop the link for you too while I'm at it. Got the link up now for this live. Copy. Here is the new live. We're going over there. We're gonna get all the best spirit box responses out of the other nights. So there's the link. And I'll see you guys there. Thank you for everybody who's been in here.